Good morning. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to the psychologist for the Rachelle Waterman case, and then we'll be back at 6 p.m. tonight to do a little bit more. StreamYard did an update. I don't like it. It's popping up two different videos, one for landscape, one for portrait. I don't know what's going on with it. So if it's messing up for you guys, I don't know what to do about it. I don't like the update. I don't know. I have to work with it. Flashbang, you're good. This one, that's what we're trying to work out. Is I don't know why it pops up two different ones, and I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. Thanks, Brandy. What's up, Brad Bear? So yeah, I know it says two different ones that are listed. I think one is like landscape, and the other, my mom said one is for mobile, one is for desktop. Please don't go to the mobile one because I just clicked on the mobile one and it makes my face real big. Don't like that. But anyways, we're going to listen to this psychologist. It's like 2 hours or so long. And then, like I said, then we'll be back at 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight to listen to whoever is next. Yeah, whoever, go to the other one. There's two. This was last time I was StreamYard. If you go back on my mom's page with the live, there'll be another one. Click on that one. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. So I apologize. I don't know how to take it off. But yeah. So I hope is psychology real? I'd say it is. I mean, I don't know. You haven't been put in an institution yet, so maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm just kidding. It's good to see you. I hope you had a good weekend and are having a good day. Yes, Flashman, you're good. You're on the right one. Hope you guys are a little bit warmer than I am. Because people in Texas, we don't do good with cold weather. I woke up and it was like 37 degrees outside. Oh, thank you. Well, I shouldn't say I woke up. I've been awake since like 5 p.m. yesterday. But anyways, exactly. Never know. That's the problem. We did not get any snow, but my mom got snow. Sorry about that. He is not used to me being awake right now, so he's just gonna bark his head off apparently. But all right, let's get started. As always, if the audio or anything needs adjusted, what's up? And yes, he does. He's like, yes. But if the audio needs adjusted or anything like that, let me know. So let's, as the song says, let's effing go.
The state has rested its case. Did you wish to call any witnesses, Mr. Wells?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. We would call Dr. Marty Beyer.
Dr. Beyer, if you could come forward, please. Stand before the clerk. Raise your right hand. She'll administer the oath of a witness.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in the case now before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Please have a seat here in the witness box, and there are 2 steps up to get there. Good morning. Good morning. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Marty Beyer, Beyer,
Thank you. Where do you live?
in Oregon.
Okay. And what do you do?
I'm a clinical psychologist.
What-
I divide my time really between consultation in juvenile justice and child welfare.
What is a child welfare case?
The work that I do in child welfare is with caseworkers and their supervisors in foster care, where they're making decisions about removing children from their families and returning children to their families after they've been in foster care.
Can you all hear that? Do we need to move the microphone up? Are we okay? Just want to make sure. All right. And juvenile justice matters deals with when, as I understand it, children are charged with crimes?
Yes.
You say that you work in consulting. What type of consulting do you do?
In juvenile justice, much of my work has been in assisting states in designing services for juveniles. So when a delinquent is in the state's custody, helping to figure out what kinds of services would be rehabilitative for those juveniles.
Do you focus then on a particular area of psychology based upon age?
Yes, my work is with children and families as well as with adolescents.
All right, and when you say you consult with states on how to design services for juveniles in the justice system, how do you come to be involved with that?
Well, all of my work in
Before we continue, I have to say hello to my lovely co-host.
Hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie. So, but we're just getting started. Did y'all get any snow there?
No, it's 56 and raining.
Oh, you guys you're warmer than us. It's 46 here.
Yeah, it won't snow for a while, I don't think.
I hope not. I hate snow. Hate it with a passion.
Look what I can do.
Oh, piece of candy. All right.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Mama says it's okay to talk to lesbians because they're good with the cats and they have can-do attitudes. All right, and play.
graduate school in psychology was with teenagers who were involved with the court system as a result of their offenses, were in drug treatment programs, were runaways from home. So that was at the beginning of my work. I then was a psychologist in a juvenile detention facility. And then from there was asked to do training about adolescent development for staff of juvenile programs as well as for lawyers and judges. And then in a number of cases in different states was asked to serve as an expert to assist in improvements in those states' responses to juveniles as a result of lawsuits that were brought against the state for the way that they were treating juveniles.
So, when you were asked to assist because of lawsuits, who would ask you to assist? Would it be lawyers for the parties? Would it be courts? How would that come about?
Well, it varies. Sometimes an expert panel is appointed by the court, either the federal court or a local court. Sometimes as a result of the litigation, the state agency agrees to hire consultants in order to assist them in meeting the requirements of the consent decree or agreement that's been arrived at as a result of the case.
You talk about a consent decree. What is a consent decree?
Well, basically, in a case like this, the lawyers on behalf of children who have been found delinquent have argued that the services to rehabilitate those juveniles aren't available in sufficient quantity, or they're the type of services that are not effective in rehabilitating juveniles. And the court finds that in order to rehabilitate juveniles, the state has to change its services. And that can include both improving the juvenile correctional facilities and enhancing the services that are available to juveniles in the community, such as group homes or services to juveniles after they return from residential treatment to their own homes.
So when in these types of lawsuits, when the courts find that essentially the government, whether state or local or whatever, is not doing what it needs to, you get called in to help fashion or to make repairs, essentially?
Well,
That's kind of a crude way of putting it, but
I get called in to advise in the making of the repairs. I don't work for the agency, so I'm not the person who is actually running a facility or contracting with private programs to offer juvenile services.
which jurisdictions have you worked in litigation on?
Well, in foster care in Alabama, Oregon, California, and Maine and New York, and in juvenile justice, the District of Columbia, Oklahoma, Florida, the state of Maryland. Those are the primary ones that come to mind in juvenile justice. I've also worked for the federal Department of Justice in their investigations of juvenile facilities in a couple of states, but not in the role of advising on the final changes that the state would make to improve those facilities.
All right. Have you ever worked with the ABA on juvenile justice and child issues regarding the law?
Yes, I have written a number of articles that have been published by the ABA, and I have offered training through the ABA both in my foster care work and in juvenile justice. Most of those writings are about immaturity and disabilities and trauma and how they affect the behavior of children and adolescents.
What type of education did you go through to be able to get into this position?
I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I have a PhD in clinical community psychology.
And where did you get your PhD?
At Yale University.
When was that?
A long time ago.
Okay. I won't go any farther. Do you then? Let me ask it this way: what portion of your professional practice is involved in cases like this, where you wind up coming in to testify after you have evaluated an adolescent, and you're going to testify about the results of that evaluation?
I probably evaluate 10 juveniles a year. That doesn't always lead to testimony, either in juvenile court or in transfer hearings or adult court.
Have you, when you have testified, have you been qualified as an expert in juvenile and adolescent psychology before?
Yes.
Have you been qualified as an expert in juvenile and adolescent psychology in terms of the juvenile justice system and legal issues such as that?
Yes, usually my qualification is more general than that, as a clinical psychologist with a specialty in adolescent development.
Have you ever worked with any juvenile justice clinics, like with Steve Drizzen or anything at Northwestern or any other places like that, dealing with the role or the experiences of juveniles in the justice system?
Yes, although my work with clinics, juvenile justice clinics where law students practice in court, has primarily been in a teaching role as a volunteer, offering classes in adolescent development, or occasionally I have been asked to be an expert in a case where the clinic is representing the juvenile.
You talked a little bit earlier about how you sometimes teach lawyers and judges classes on adolescent development. Where have you taught those classes?
In the District of Columbia, as well as in conferences in a number of locations sponsored by the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges or by the American Bar Association.
And when you teach on that, what sort of particular aspects do you teach your audience about?
Well, my orientation is trying to understand what is behind the behavior of a young person, not just looking at what their behavior is, but what might be contributing to it, particularly their disabilities, the trauma that they've experienced, the immaturity that they show, and looking at them one child at a time, of course, but generalizing from that to apply the research on child and adolescent development to understanding why a young person might behave in a certain way.
All right. At this time, Your Honor, I would tender Dr. Beyer as an expert in juvenile and adolescent psychology.
Did you wish to voir dire?
No, ma'am. That's fine. I don't have any objection.
Her expertise is so noted.
Thank you. Now, we've been talking about juvenile and adolescent psychology. Why is juvenile and adolescent psychology different than the psychology of adults?
Well, teenagers' brains are very different from adults' brains.
In what way?
Well, that's a big subject.
That is a big subject, I know.
But scientists have demonstrated that teenagers are immature, and they've demonstrated a physiological basis for their immaturity. And they've done this in a variety of ways, but primarily through MRI studies, where they have looked at the development, first of all, of the frontal cortex of the brain. That's the part of the brain that's responsible for decision-making, risk assessment, impulse control, and they have shown from throughout adolescence, beginning at 12 or 13, that in the MRIs of normal teenagers, the frontal cortex of the brain develops substantially over the adolescent years. And originally, those studies were designed to go through the age of 18. But as they were being done, the scientists discovered that at 17, the frontal cortex of the brain was still developing, and that at 18, it was still developing, and they continue to follow these teenagers with MRIs into their early 20s. So even an intelligent 17 or 16-year-old teenager can't have the decision-making of an adult because their frontal cortex is not as developed as an adult. Then there's a second kind of MRI study that they've done called a functional MRI, where while the person is in the MRI tube, they're asked to do some thinking by being shown photographs of faces that show emotions while they're in the MRI. And in teenagers, the part of the brain that lights up when they are shown these pictures of faces is a primitive emotion center in the brain called the amygdala, whereas in adults, when they're shown the same pictures, the part of their brain that lights up is the frontal cortex of the brain. So the conclusion of those studies has been that teenagers process information through the primitive emotion center of their brain, while adults process that same information through the good judgment center of their brain, the frontal cortex.
All right, let's take that answer. That's a big chunk of information, and let's break it down a little piece by piece. I'll start back at the beginning. You said that there were physiological differences between a juvenile brain and an adult brain. What is, I think we understand, but I just want to make sure that we do. What does physiological mean?
That the pictures of their brains in normal adolescents and normal adults are different. Both the pictures that show the size and the efficiency of the frontal cortex and the pictures that show which areas of the brain show electrical activity during a task like the one I described.
So physically, with the structures and the size and all of that, a juvenile's brain, even if a juvenile is adult size, a juvenile's brain is physically different from an adult's brain?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. If you tell a juvenile, listen, you're 16 years old, wake up, think like a kid, deal with this. Can they do that?
Think like
think like an adult, deal with this. Can they do that?
They can't think like an adult because they don't have an adult brain.
And that's one of the big differences then between juveniles and adults, is that the juveniles just don't have an adult brain?
Yes.
You talked about the frontal cortex development. I take it the frontal cortex is a part of the brain?
Yes.
All right. Just to make sure that we understand, what is it that the frontal cortex handles?
It's the main part of the brain in adults that handles decision-making, judgment, impulse control, those kinds of mature thought processes.
So teenagers, if I understand what you're saying, teenagers make immature decisions because biologically they're not equipped like adults. Is that?
Objection is leading.
I'm trying to summarize. Okay. Does that lack of development on the frontal cortex then have any impact in juvenile decision making?
Yes, and there's been considerable writing about the different kind of decision-making and judgment and risk assessment that teenagers are capable of as a result.
Can you describe the type of risk-taking and judgment that teenagers go through as opposed to an adult because their frontal cortex is not developed?
Well, the research in this area is substantial. The American Medical Association and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry summarized a lot of this research in one place when they were preparing a brief for the United States Supreme Court when it made its decision that juveniles could not have the death penalty. And they focused on a couple of aspects of decision-making that I would see as different in teenagers than in adults. First, they talked about the proneness of teenagers to taking risks. In fact, they said it would be statistically abnormal for a teenager not to take risks and not to have the bad judgment that goes with risk-taking. Secondly, they said that teenagers are more susceptible to stress than adults, and their decision-making is compromised by stress, which worsens their already impaired risk-taking. And third, they said that adolescents were more vulnerable to pressure from others, and that the importance of acceptance by friends will make an already risk-prone teenager more so. So the American Medical Association concluded that the findings of research indicate that, in their brief, a normal 17-year-old can't be expected to have the maturity or the judgment of an adult. And they also went on to conclude that a teenager who had problems, had a dysfunctional family, or other problems, could not be expected even to function at the level of a normal teenager in these areas.
Now, you said that they had talked in their brief about somebody being 17 years old. Was the person at the case that went before the Supreme Court, were they 17? Is that why they used that?
Yes, they were trying to look at later adolescents, 16 and 17-year-olds, and not confine themselves to earlier stages in adolescence where these ideas of immaturity might be already more recognized.
So if what they're saying applied to a 17-year-old, how much more would it apply to somebody that was just barely 16?
Well, certainly their findings about a 17-year-old would apply to a 16-year-old, and the MRI research indicates that frontal cortex development in general in 16-year-olds is less than that of 17-year-olds.
What does the effect of trauma have upon this development of adolescence?
Well, trauma can slow down development, and I can try to chart that out if you want to.
Let's deal with, well, maybe we can chart it out when we get a little bit further. I'll tell you what, rather than go into that area now, let's look at this. Does the research show that there's any difference between males and females?
Yes, there's been a lot of writing about the different development of girls in comparison to boys. The development of girls is focused on their relationships, and teenage girls are constantly worried about the loss of closeness and nurturance in their relationship world. In comparison to teenage boys, girls consistently score lower on their self-satisfaction. They are more depressed and more often attempt suicide, and they are more reactive to stressful life events than boys their age.
Is there any, based on the research, do they know if there's anything about the brain development that has that, or are they still looking at some of the reasons for that?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know of different MRI results for boys than girls in adolescence.
All right. With that in mind, did you conduct an evaluation of Rachelle in this case?
Yes, I did.
And actually, before we get to that, would it be helpful if you had the easel to talk a bit about the
Yes.
examination? May I bring the easel over, Your Honor?
Yes.
If you want to, I don't know if you can grab that microphone. If you can't grab that one, I've got one right here for you. You got enough pens? I've got some markers over here.
Will you tell me if you can't hear me?
Can you hear? All right. What did you find in particular about Rachelle in your evaluation of her, in terms of adolescent brain development and the factors that would have affected her reactions in this situation, how she perceived risk and her judgment?
Well, in order to understand what's behind her behavior, I looked particularly at trauma and immaturity.
Okay, but let me stop there. Why do you look at trauma and immaturity in particular?
Well, in my experience, in order to understand the behavior of adolescents, is usually a weaving together of immaturity and trauma, and in about half the juveniles, disabilities are also part of the weaving together of things that explain their behavior.
And what did you find? Well, let me back up. What, psychologically speaking, is trauma?
Well, the effects of trauma on children have been well documented, and that includes physical and sexual abuse. It includes serious accidents. It includes not only physical injury, but serious physical problems that have been traumatic for children. And it can also include natural disasters. And certainly there's been a lot of writing about the impact on the children of New York City, for example, after September 11th, or the children of New Orleans after the disaster there. So trauma can cover quite a range of things depending on the child, but trauma tends to slow down development in children because instead of being able to concentrate on the normal things that they're supposed to be doing at their age, learning to read or arithmetic or social skill development, they're distracted by the trauma that they've experienced, and they're spending a lot of their energy instead on coping with the changes in their lives, which we would see typically, for example, in a child who is removed after maltreatment in their home and is placed in a foster home. And we typically see a slowdown in development during that period of time because of the impact of all of those traumas.
Did you discover any sources of trauma or what psychologists would consider trauma in Rachelle's life before the death of her mother?
Yeah, and let me
Please.
sketch those out. So Rachelle did experience significant trauma in her life. The first is early physical maturing. And there's been considerable research about the long-lasting effects on girls who mature physically early. She started developing at around age 10, which she said was several years before her classmates. She was very embarrassed by her large breasts. She was teased by other children, and it had a major impact on her long after her elementary school years that she started maturing so early. And she had another significant trauma, which was that Rachelle was raped by a stranger at age 13. And that had a major impact on her, not only because it was frightening, but her first sexual experience. And she also was traumatized by her mother's disapproval of her her grades, her clothes, her weight, and her friends. And this consistent disapproval was very painful for her because, like most girls, closeness to their mother and approval by their mother is so important. These three aspects of, or these three types of trauma, I thought had some important effects on Rachelle. That first of all, she had low self-esteem, that her self-dislike that came from early physical maturing led to a dislike of herself despite her intelligence, her musical talents, her athletic abilities, that she still didn't feel good. In addition, the effect of this trauma was that she was unusually emotionally needy. So even though at 16 she was doing responsible things like having a summer job, in comparison to other 16-year-olds, she remained more needy as a youngster. And refer to my notes. In addition, Rachelle had been had been depressed. Really, I think off and on from age 10, certainly at age 13, her writings reflected really depressing thoughts, not only about herself, but others. And she included in her depression was that she didn't know how to get help to improve her relationship with her mother. And that contributed to this depression.
Let me ask you some questions about this. When you say that these are the results, the low self-esteem, emotional neediness, and depression, what effect then does that have, or how can we see that in Rachelle's behavior in, say, the summer of 2004?
Well, it's not at all surprising that a young person with such low self-esteem and body image problems coming from her earlier trauma and her emotional neediness would be flattered at the age of 15 by attention by older guys.
If she would be flattered by attention from older guys, do you think that in the process of maturing and her brain developing, she would begin to realize that 25-year-old high school janitors are perhaps not suitable partners?
Well, now you're going into the other area of immature thinking.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get into that area, let's develop this a bit. Let's talk about item number 2 up there, the sexual violation. Do you know how common it is for teenage girls to be sexually violated in this country?
I don't know.
Let me ask you maybe a different way. It's certainly not, the fact that this would happen is certainly not unusual. Would you agree with that?
Yes, many girls report that they have been sexually violated by the time they leave home and go to college. I know that's been reported.
And, excuse me, did you learn how did you learn whether Rachelle's mom had learned of this?
Yes.
And what was her response to this?
Like many mothers, she responded with disbelief. She didn't think that things like that happened in their small town, and she didn't want to believe that her daughter at 13 had been sexually violated. So Rachelle reported that her mother didn't believe her.
And how would this have interacted with number 3, her perception that her mother disapproved of her?
Well, I think that what Rachelle reported was that it affected her ability to confide in her mother.
As a psychologist dealing with juvenile and adolescent psychology, particularly for teenage girls, is there anybody else that would be a more important person, in your opinion, for a teenage girl to confide in than her mother?
I think most teenage girls want to be able to confide in their mothers.
How did that? Let me ask it this way. Did that create any feelings of isolation or being alone in Rachelle?
Yes, and part of what I described about her depression was that she felt alone and kept to herself more during 8th grade, which was after that experience, and that her relationship with her mother, according to her father, became more distant during 8th grade as well.
So you talked with her dad, with Doc Waterman, as part of your evaluation of Rachelle?
Yes.
And in your professional opinion, he corroborated as much as he could that information?
Yes.
All right. Let's turn these over. I'll help you. And let's look at, you said there was a second aspect. What would that be?
In addition to trauma, I would look at immature thinking, and this goes back to what I talked about before about the developing brain of a teenager. Of course, anyone in the courtroom who's been a teenager or who has parented a teenager knows about the immature thinking of teenagers. It's pretty famous, especially the difficulty that teenagers have in seeing consequences. Or anticipating the consequences of actions. And a second famous kind of immature thinking in teenagers is their minimizing of risk. And of course, it's the combination of their difficulty in seeing consequences and their minimizing risk that accounts for surprising behaviors in teenagers. I don't know about here, but in the lower 48, a really great experience for a teenager is to jump on a skateboard and hold on to the back of a moving car. And for all of us as adults, even hearing that, we're already in the emergency room. We already can picture what the consequences of taking a risk like that are. But for teenagers who, as the AMA document indicated, who take risks as part of their development, they can't think about the worst thing that's going to happen. Once they do start being able to think about the worst thing that's going to happen, they're not thinking like a teenager anymore. And this combination of adolescent thinking is common in just about all the kids that we know. And when I say immature thinking here, I'm not talking about a brain that isn't working intelligently. These characteristics are common in even the brightest young people. They're independent of intelligence. In Rachelle, the way this immature thinking affected her was first that she thought that crying on Jason's shoulder about her mother was nothing more than venting. And secondly, that she didn't see the dangers of hanging around with creepy older guys. And last, a real example of minimizing of risk, she dismissed Jason's planning as being stupid fantasies, she called them.
Thank you. Sure. So if I understand it, in your professional opinion, it's the trauma that you described as well as her immature thinking are the backdrop for what she was doing around the time of her mother's death?
Yes, and well before it.
And well before. All right. Let's talk a little bit about grief, okay? Is there one reaction that is common among people that grieve?
No, there's a range of ways that people have of coping with loss. Some people are very openly expressive and others are more private. Some people describe going through a cycling of being extremely sad and being angry about their loss. So there's considerable range in the way people show or the way people cope with their sadness.
How about denial? Is denial a common reaction to loss?
Yes, especially in teenagers. Denial is another kind of immature thinking, if you will, that we see in teenagers, where their reactions often are, it couldn't be true. It didn't really happen. I can't believe it. That capacity for denying reality is very common in teenagers. I mean, it's a factor for the ever increasing teen pregnancy rate, that teenagers are well educated about the risks of unprotected sex, and yet the ability to deny means that it can't happen to me, which accounts for a lot of unprotected sex among teenagers, with a high rate of pregnancy continuing to be true.
In your professional opinion, is denial an explanation of Rachelle's behavior the week after her mother had disappeared and then died?
Yes. Denial that it couldn't be true was something that was evident in the videotapes of the police questioning, and was still evident several months later when I interviewed her in January. And she did not, in all the hours of interviewing, refer to her mother in anything but the present tense. So at that point, several months later, she was still not thinking of her mother as really dead.
You said that in all the hours that you interviewed her, how many hours did you spend interviewing Rachelle?
About 11 hours in that first set of interviews.
And then how many hours after that?
I returned in October and interviewed her for another several hours.
And what other documents did you review in your evaluation of Rachelle?
School records and the transcripts of and videotapes of police questioning over several different days, as well as other transcripts of statements that were given by others, as well as her internet communication and the blog that she had, and and copies of various communications between her and others.
Now, the fact that it wound up being Jason and Brian that had planned and killed her mother, and that these were friends, ex-boyfriends, whatever, of her, what effect would that have on Rachelle?
Well, first, the shock of her mother's death, then combined with the shock of their responsibility for it, particularly in the light, as I explained, of her minimizing risk, like most teenagers would do, and dismissing what she had heard about several months previous as fantasies that they weren't possibly serious about.
I'm sorry, I'll strike that and I'll ask it this way. You said that you had read the transcripts and watched the videos of her various interviews. What, in your opinion, as someone who is an expert in juvenile and adolescent psychology, what would explain her wanting to deny to the police, for example, that she had not had sex with Jason or Brian?
Embarrassment. What teenage girl wouldn't be embarrassed?
So she kind of threw me right there. And maybe I heard it wrong because Sergio was barking, where she said something like they weren't gonna, they were just thoughts, they were just fantasies, like they weren't gonna actually play. They did, but I'm not gonna play.
By questions about her relationships and her sexual relationships, especially coming from men who she didn't know.
What about statements to the effect of,
Anyways, what I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted by Serge. I don't agree with her saying that they were just fantasies because they did play it out. Someone's dead. Like her mom is deceased. This wasn't a fantasy. This was played out. Like they did act upon this. And again, maybe I just completely misheard her and I'm way out of line.
I'm pretty sure that's what she said.
I thought that's what she said. But yeah. So, I thought that's what she said. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh my god.
Jason could not have done it? What psychologically could prompt someone to say that?
Shock and disbelief. Having been in months before in a state of minimizing what she had heard from them, dismissing it as talk that had no seriousness to it, disbelief.
What about telling the police that this couldn't have happened because she'd been on the phone with Jason at a certain time?
Again, I would say a denial. It couldn't be true. Denial both that her mother had been killed and that they could have been responsible for it.
Given her psychological state, at that point, is it possible psychologically that she just might have wanted it to be true?
I'm sorry, wanted what to be true?
Wanted it to be true that she had been talking to Jason at that time?
I'm going to object. It's getting fairly speculative.
If you could rephrase your question, I thought it was.
All right, I'll just move on. In that interview, Rachelle tells Sergeant McPherson, "You're doing a good job of making me feel guilty for feeling like I caused my mother's death." What would that do to somebody who's barely 16 who's in Rachelle's position?
Well, in that interview, which I believe was on the 17th, where she made that comment, her feelings of shock and her feeling guilty for what she had dismissed previously were apparent. That she hadn't taken what they had said months before seriously, and now she was feeling that the police officers were telling her that she was the catalyst for her mother's death.
Do you know if that made her feel guilty?
Yes. And that guilt was evident in her physically in that interview, and then in many of the words that she used in the next interview on the 19th, I believe, where she said repeatedly that she wasn't. She was in shock about her mother's death, and that she was feeling guilty by the way it was being presented to her.
Given the
Did we watch the same interrogation video? What?
I don't.
I'm,
I don't know what's happening.
I missed Thursday, so maybe but she's just said that, she was in shock and feeling guilty. Yeah, because she just told the freaking detective in an interrogation video her involvement. I would hope that she was feeling guilty. Your mom is dead.
Also, why is there a random button on her shirt right there?
I know. I really want to know what that is. Yes, this is a psychologist. Yeah.
With this psychobabble.
Psychobabble. Oh shit. I normally like these things, and I'm sure. I mean, she does make good points and stuff, but again, it boils down to what they're gonna let her say, whose side she's on, who hired her, all that good stuff. But yeah, I would hope that she felt guilty. Right.
Oh, not the thing on her like lapel jacket. The button that's in the middle of her shirt. Right by her throat. That's a button, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's I don't remember what those are called. Hey Sharon. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. I don't even know. I don't even know what day it is.
Also, every time Rachelle grabs something, she's holding it in an awkward way. Why is she pouring the picture like that? Why is she holding her pen like that?
I wasn't paying
It's so
attention,
weird.
so I'll have to.
Yeah, you have to go back and look at it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll have to pay attention to it now. Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Guilt that she would be feeling, or given the guilt, let's take a teenager in her position. Would that make it easier or harder to coerce her to make a statement?
Calls for speculation as to what would be going on in Ms. Waterman's mind. Objection sustained.
Oh, all right. If you take, would guilt like that make it easier or harder for the police to coerce a teenager
Objection.
Hear the rest of the question.
to make a statement? I'm not asking about Ms. Waterman in particular, just asking if the guilt would make it easier or harder for the police officers to have a teenager then make a statement.
Could you rephrase your question so that it's clear what you're talking about with respect to guilt? I'm not following.
I also have an objection. When we discussed this earlier, the defense said they were not going to be presenting evidence about an expert about false confession. So I think this concedes what the notice would be given.
Well, I just didn't understand the question, but that suggested it might be a good time to take a break. So let's make this our long break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll reconvene. I'm going to meet with the lawyers for a few minutes before we break, so I think it'll be a few minutes before 12. So say like 11:58. Please remember the admonition. Don't discuss the case even with one another. Keep an open mind. You haven't heard all the evidence. Have no contact with the parties, witnesses, or others, and have a nice break. And Doctor, you can step down during the break. Thank you. Watch those steps. We continue on record without the jury present. Please be seated. Where are we going, Mr. Wells?
Essentially, this was the last question that I was going to address on this particular subject, but Dr. Beyer has just testified that it's clear that Rachelle was feeling guilty at the second statement, the 17th. My question is, does that guilt then make it easier or harder to get her to say something, to get her to agree with the troopers? I'm not going to ask about false confessions. I do have the right to ask about interviewing techniques and the effect it had on her psychologically, but I'm not going to ask about false confessions or go into that.
But the question then would basically be, would feeling guilty make it more likely for Ms. Waterman to...
Make it easier or make it harder for...
Let's say more likely. I mean, I don't know what's easier or harder. I think what you're asking is whether or not it would make it more likely.
That she would then make a statement. That she would then make a statement
As
in a
opposed
police...
to staying silent?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so your question is going to be, would feeling guilty make it more likely for Ms. Waterman to make a statement as opposed to standing silent?
Essentially agreeing with the truth. I'll tell you what, I will
Well,
just
then I think you're
withdraw the
asking-
question.
I mean-
I will just withdraw the question.
Okay, that may take care of your issue with respect to,
Right. But the question that he was phrased dealt with teenagers in general making false statements. So that was, but since he's withdrawing the whole question, so okay.
I'll withdraw that.
okay. I want to allow you the full extent of cross-examination or direct examination of your expert within the guidelines that have been set by our Court of Appeals. And so I'm trying to walk that line as carefully as possible.
I understand. Sometimes in the heat of battle, you're going some places, and that's just what happens.
Okay. Anything you wanted to take up, Mr. West, before we break?
No.
Okay, I'll see you all at 11:58.
Thank you.
We continue on record, and Dr. Beyer, I remind you that you remain under oath. Go ahead, Mr. Wells.
Dr. Beyer, we were talking about Rachelle's statements to the police. You said you had reviewed those. In your opinion, as juvenile and adolescent psychologist, how much psychological pressure was she under in those interviews?
A great deal of psychological pressure.
Do you think that, is the guilt that she expressed in the interview from the 17th, is that something that a skilled interviewer could use to increase the psychological pressure?
Yes.
How?
Well, her reaction is visible on the videotape of the last interviews. The pressure that she felt is apparent in her responses to being called a liar repeatedly. You can watch her reacting to that. The pressure that she was under is visible when she heard from the police officers that if she really did love her mother, as he said, we refer to that, if you truly do love your mother, you owe it to her to tell us what really happened. That was an example of where her feeling under tremendous psychological pressure was evident in those interviews.
Let me ask you this. Assume for the purposes of this question that an interviewer for the state troopers had said that one of the goals in an interview is to separate somebody so that they would be isolated. Given what Rachelle was experiencing, given what you talked about with the trauma, the effects of trauma upon her and her immature thinking, as a juvenile, as somebody that's just barely 16, would that feeling of isolation be greater in her than somebody that would be an adult?
Yes, and it wasn't just a feeling of isolation. She was in shock about her mother's death, and her father wasn't with her in the interviewing room. She was alone.
I get what she's saying. But if you are going to do adult things and do adult actions, they have adult consequences, which means you don't get that comfort anymore with having your parent present. You're going to be isolated off whenever they interrogate you. You did an adult action, now you have an adult consequence. Maybe I'm just being too harsh, but that's just how it is. And she could ask for a lawyer too. She could have asked for a lawyer at any time. She should have. She 100% should have asked for a lawyer. But they, with things
I
like
can't
this,
remember like, did they even, I can't remember if they said why her father wasn't in the room with her.
I don't know if he was there. I don't think he was there because I thought one time in the interrogation she said, "Are you going to call my dad?"
Oh, okay.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Florida, they still do this. Florida, you don't. It's not required for them to even ask parents permission for them to interrogate a child. And to an extent, I will say that to an extent. But if you, just like this, if you had an adult action, if Florida sees it as you might have an adult consequence, they do not feel the need or obligation, nor is it illegal for them to interrogate that child without a parent present or even asking the parent because they don't care.
Huh. Interesting. Oh, okay, whoever. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, let's keep.
Is it significant to you as a psychologist that her father was not with her?
Yes,
Why?
because teenagers don't have the ability to make adult judgments, make adult decisions. And so parents are typically involved in questioning of teenagers.
Now, on the interview,
No. No, there's been, from my understanding, no allegation whatsoever that her dad had done anything to her. I don't think that whatsoever. I don't necessarily know what trauma she's trying to insinuate here.
Well, I would think that she's probably talking about the, abuse she brought up in her blog or whatever towards, what her mother did to her, supposedly or allegedly.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could also think of is what the alleged, like the allegations were against her mom. But
I dare.
when it comes to her dad, no, there's been zero allegations that he ever did anything to her.
Well,
Hey.
come back after 5 and then we won't
I was
be.
gonna say, come back after 5. Because I'm gonna be a whole different person. Because by that time, I would have been awake for like 27 hours, and we're gonna keep going. Might get a. It's gonna be a ride. It'll be a good day.
interview on the or in the videotape, I don't know another way to put it. There are times in which Rachelle is kind of a smart aleck back to the police. What is the significance of that psychologically?
Well, you might have just shown your own orientation to working with girls. It kind of, in the world of services to girls, it kind of splits out. And either staff who work with girls admire girls for using their intelligence by being smart Alex, as you put it. And then there's the rest of the world of working with girls where adults really feel insulted by a bright girl with a big mouth. I think that that is more of a characteristic of Rachelle that came through over all those hours of interviewing as just one of the ways that she talks to adults. That it was a very stressful interview would mean that that wasn't all that we saw in the interview. She wasn't a smart aleck most of the time, but I don't think it was surprising that her intelligence came out in the responses that she made.
All right. I think you watched the whole video to the very end where Trooper McPheron comes in and she says, "Can you please stay and keep me company?" What is the psychological significance of that?
She was all alone. and she had been sobbing and was in shock about her mother's death, and being so all alone, she wanted someone to be there with her.
Let me ask you a couple of other questions. You had talked about the effect, particularly of the trauma and early development on Rachelle's self-image and self-confidence. How would that have affected the psychological pressure she was under in this interview?
Well, the psychological pressure on her during the interviews made her observably less self-confident. When I watched the interview and saw her response when the officer said, "I've had enough of this drama queen stuff. I've had enough of these lies." Those are strong, demeaning statements, even for an adult, let alone a teenager with this poor self-regard and in the shock of her mother's death and all alone.
All alone. You had talked a bit about.
Hey, AJ.
Hey, you can take, never mind. That's on my end. I'm here to make everybody hate me. So I disagree, which won't shock anybody. But I think what she was saying about the fantasy part was that Rachelle was looking at that as a fantasy. Not like they were just running their mouths. Not that they were going to really do it. She didn't believe they were going to really do it. So she didn't think she needed to do anything about it. That's how I took that they were just there. It's the three of us have ran our mouths about things. Let's be honest. That we're never going to do. We're never going to do them. But we've ran our mouths. Everybody does it. Everybody says things they're not going to do. And I think that's what she was saying.
Oh,
is
for
Rachelle
sure.
did not think they were actually going to do anything. So she didn't think anything about it.
Her interrogation.
Okay, I don't know. And I know I keep going back to this, and I wish I could show them side by side. I really do. But I saw this technique get two people sent to prison and confess to things they had nothing to do with. One was on death row for decades.
Yeah, but he
And
didn't
he
really
had-
go hard on the technique, though. That's where I
He
don't.
had nothing, but she was 16 years old.
Who cares?
You said she knew that she should have asked for an attorney. Adults don't know they should ask for an attorney. Adults talk all the time and never even know that they could have asked for an attorney or think that they should ask for an attorney. So a 16-year-old is not going to be like, yeah, I need an attorney. She's not going to say that. She doesn't want her dad there. So she did waive the right for her dad to be there, because who wants their dad to hear, yeah, I've been having sex with this, these two 20-something men.
I understand, but also virtually everybody knows if you're if you're in trouble, yes, ask for an attorney. It's literally in your Miranda rights. Listen to them when they read it off to you. I agree. Most people do not exercise that right when they should. They still don't, even today, they still don't do it.
Exactly. And a
But-
kid would not know that, because we are taught you respect authority. Police officers are an authority figure over you, and you respect them. When he's like, we are your best friends right now. Bullshit. You are not. They're not your friend ever, especially in that situation. And he was saying, yes, we are your friend right now. No, but she doesn't, she's not thinking that, oh my gosh, oh yeah, I think I have some help here. She doesn't think that they're not looking out for my best interest. They want to solve this. He had his truth. He wanted to get to it. And that was the only thing he was going to accept. She was never walking out of that room.
I told you that the other day. The moment that he read the Miranda rights, she wasn't walking out of the room, because he didn't read it to him the first interrogation video. She was free to go then,
But she
But
and
the-
guarantee she didn't walk out. Do you
Most
ever
people
even see
don't.
adults walk out of the room when
That's what
they
I'm
tell them
saying.
they're free to go? They never do.
Most people don't, because they don't like it's every time. And again, it's a technique of when you think somebody's going to walk out, you say something else to draw them back in. But what I don't agree with you on is I, the trial that you are talking about, where they went hard on the read technique. They didn't do that here. They
They didn't
barely.
have to.
You're
She was
right.
a young girl sitting in a room with men. The fact that she has a assault of the worst kind at a young age.
So who was that? I missed that part.
It was a stranger.
Like full blown
So,
grape juice?
yeah, at 13. That screws you up.
I'm not saying that it doesn't. You made me lose my train of thought.
Well, Bri, her father didn't even know the first time she was being interviewed. He was busy. They took her down. He couldn't get there. He didn't think I don't know if he even thought that she would be a suspect in this, to think that she needed to get a lawyer. And
Well, she
also,
could have ridden her bike.
listen, I'm not saying like her hands are not squeaky clean in all of this, but there are things I cannot, like, I just cannot go, okay, yeah, that's right, because they kept telling her, and just tell us the truth, just tell us the truth. And when she did tell them the truth, when they didn't remember she told them the truth, then they accused her of lying.
How
And
do we know what the truth is?
so he wanted the truth he wanted. That's what the truth was, the detective wanted. She said, I talked to Jason online Sunday night when I got home. And then the next time he interviewed her, she said, I talked to Jason Sunday night. Well, you didn't say you talked to Jason Sunday night. She did. She did say it. He just
Okay,
didn't
but
remember it. So now she's lying. So now he's like, so now you're lying and you're continuing to lie because you lied here, so nobody believes you. They never have produced any proof that she made that phone call. And they were the ones, because I rewatched part of it this morning before I got busy with you, that she said, I don't know if I used the lobby phone or Katrina's cell phone. There's cameras. There's also cell phone records. Produce one of them
I
that
get
says
it,
she made a phone call, and they don't.
but that doesn't excuse everything else that she
What's
confessed to.
everything else?
Yes, I knew about this. Was there a message that said, what do you want me to do? Unaliver? Response, yes. They said, did you say that? She said, yes.
But
Did you
she?
know that? I mean, we could sit here and go back and forth
I'm
all
just
day.
saying, like,
But
did she say it, or is she telling them what they want to hear because she wants to go home?
I don't know. She seemed pretty relaxed when she seemed actually genuine when she was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not like I'm gonna say what actually happened. There was no hesitation, there was no there was no us, there was no having to sit there and think about what you were saying. It is just because when you're telling the truth, you don't have to think about it. And
Yeah, and she had, I don't know. I mean, put yourself, not 30-year-old Carmen, but 15-year-old Carmen. 15-year-old Carmen's going to act a lot different than 30-year-old Carmen.
I agree with that, but
You would have been just as mouthy as she is.
not to a cop.
If they would have kept pushing you on something, you would have got mouthy with them. Brandon would have got mouthy with them.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I don't understand why she got mad. I get that. But it's still this whole section over here that she was able to disclose a lot of details. And I
But
just
they have
I can't.
produced Nothing. The emails, all Jason's. The emails on Jason's computer. There's nothing from her.
That they can find.
So it's not.
Yeah,
But wait a minute. The email is just so they had her computer, right? She gave them all of her passwords and everything to everything. So then that email that he was showing her was from Jason's computer, but isn't there would have been like a thread of emails back and forth, no?
Did she respond? We've never. They don't
she
say.
had to have.
Did she?
He's reading it off. He's pointing to the paper and saying, "You said this."
In the interrogation room?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't seen it.
We don't see the paper. We don't
ever
see
see
what
it.
he's
They
showing
didn't
her.
bring it to court. So I don't know
Yeah.
that exists. Because they can lie.
I understand they can lie, but
He's
you're not.
got a piece of paper in my. Okay, fine.
But he's showing.
This
her.
is my
How's he
glasses.
gonna? I get it, but what is he gonna do? Sit here and show her this blank piece of paper and say, "You
No,
said
'cause-
this here"?
No,
No.
he's not going to show it to her. He's just going to lie to her.
But he's physically pointing and showing her something.
I think she did look at it. She did look at. We couldn't see because the way he was sitting, like what was in front of him. But I'm pretty sure she looked at the paper and she said, "Yes, I remember seeing that email."
Yeah, there
But
was
it's not been in court. The email was in court. The one email about the hunting trip, right?
Something like that. In the interrogation.
It was that hunting was code for when she got dropped off at volleyball practice. Her mom was going to be at a stop sign, stoplight, and he was going to go hunting.
And that was in opening statements.
No, that was.
I don't know. That was in the interrogation. I don't
Okay.
think that was ever in opening.
I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
remember.
The one email that I saw was from Jason about the hunting trip.
Okay, well.
She ain't
They're
right.
debating.
Okay, well,
They're
she's
debating.
not
They're
right.
They're not arguing. They're debating.
I'm sorry. I
was trying to hurry up and get ready. I was like running down. I'm like, no, that's not what they said.
I
And
disagree.
hello, everyone. Sorry, I came in hot.
I'm sorry. I disagree with you.
Well, when you were talking about, they don't walk out when they say they can, I'm like, I was going to come in and be like, can I walk out now? Bye.
We wouldn't know if you did. We'd be like, what's up, Jessica?
I would be. That's what I would. If Gabby left, I'd be like, "It's me, Jessica."
I'm sorry. I did not mean to just come in and be like, this is what's going on. I'm just.
She came in and she was like, I give my damn kid some access, and she's over there just screwing it all up.
I was like, that's all right. I'm gonna go make Pedaltown mad at me, Carmen mad at me, Sharon mad at me.
Hey, Chloe.
I'm just gonna go make everyone mad.
You're not making anyone mad. Like Bad Dazzler said, we're all just masturbators here.
What's up, Baker?
AJ's new song is "I Came In Like a Wrecking Ball."
What's up, Bakey Bake?
Carmen and I are having a
debate because she's wrong. That's what it boils down to.
Oh.
Well, look who it is.
You sent everybody over there. Gosh dang it. I put that private because this is stupid, and it's stupid freaking StreamYard is like stream and portrait and vertical at the same time. That's what we recommend you do. So I did, but nobody was over there. So I just I just made it private. I figured it was gone. So sorry, Baker.
Yeah, Baker, if you know how to take that off, will you send me a message? Like, because we're gonna stream later tonight too.
I can change it. I just can't change it while we're live.
Oh.
That's why I made it private.
Sue.
Throw stuff at the wall.
I refuse to bring you. Hello, Miss Jessica.
What's up?
We're just what's up, Baha? Puddleton,
as
are
long
you throwing stuff at the wall so you can hit me? I am just giving you the other side of what could have possibly happened, because I'm saying I wish I could show that without getting my entire channel nuked, because you would have thought, I believed when I watched the police finally get those guys to confess. I believed that they had them, that they did it. They weren't involved at all. She's
I
got some involvement. I just kind of don't think it was real to her. I think they were just shit talking.
I get it, but you know what? Still consequences.
I mean,
Like,
it's kind of like when Gabby says she's going to throw her crock at somebody. She's not really. We wish she would.
Well,
I don't know if I go that far.
well,
She might.
You
well.
know, we kind of wish, she's like, I'm getting my Tim's on. Like, okay. And she would show up, but we know, like, she's not really. But I think that's where she was at. She didn't really think it was going to happen. If they could show me, like, give me the phone records, show her making that phone call that at the time that she said she did, that would tip me over to she knew exactly what was going to happen versus they were just talking. That she thought they were just talking.
If they're just
Jason's a little
talking,
crazy.
I get it, but if they're just talking, then why are you going to give the layout of your house to somebody
She said
and
she did.
say, I'm going to
She-
be gone at this time, this day. My dad is going to be gone at this time, this day. My mom is going to be home by herself. Here's the layout of the house.
Gabby seems like she could get scrappy.
Go through the cat door.
I'm
Also go
saying,
through the cat.
fall down, calm down. I see.
It's the most ridiculous thing.
I think that I don't know. I'm not in her mind, but she's a dumb teenager who has issues. She's been raped. She's got her mom. I'm not saying the physical abuse, but I do think the telling her she's overweight. I do think her grades were not ever good enough for her mom. There has been some testimony and discussion about that. I do think there, and we have no idea what's going on with Dad and the Girl Scouts. Okay, let's be honest. That's weird.
That's yeah.
I don't.
So why? Because why is he still involved when she's not? You typically are
Some
involved
people
because your kid's involved.
No, I mean, we have people here all the time that it's just a fundraising thing that the community does.
He chose to go to that versus his daughter's volleyball tournament.
Don't like volleyball.
Good
Well,
Lord.
that's what I mean.
I'm
He
just-
could also
I'm kidding.
he could also just have a second. He could also just have a second family wherever he went, and just set
Or
it.
Well, he
it
was
could
having an
be-
affair. He was having an affair. So that's why they looked at him.
well,
Yeah.
was he really at Girl Scouts, or was
I
he
don't know. I'm just saying, like,
was he baking somebody else's cookie? Like,
we got
Probably.
that going on. So I mean, she's got a lot going on. She's had a lot happen to her. She tells her mom, "Hey, listen, I was raped," and her mom doesn't believe her.
I'm not a parent, so I don't know. But I mean, I think
That's why
with that,
people don't tell.
well, I'm just saying, I think with that, you probably get two different. You
That
get
could-
one reaction or the other. There's no in between. It's
That
either
could also be a possibility, Baker.
I'm gonna go absolutely unalive whoever did this, or I don't want to rap like as a parent. I don't want to think that I like
You don't want to
allow
think that you
this to
let something like that happen to your kid.
yeah.
And you also want to go and alive the person. But just to say, I don't believe you, that doesn't happen in this town.
But
That
is
dismisses
there
her
proof?
entire thing.
Is there proof that that's exactly what she said?
I have no idea. There's not proof of hardly anything here. The only proof we
Exactly.
have comes from Jason. And I'm
But I'm
sorry.
saying, so you can't sit here and say, oh, she had all of this and this and this and this, and her mom said this and that. There's no proof. Can't have a cake and eat it too, there, mama.
But neither can you, Carmen. There's no
Yeah.
proof.
Yes, I can. It's 2025. I'm gay. I can do whatever I want.
I'm just saying, there's no proof. So if there's no proof for me, there's no proof for you. Has nothing to do with
Pictures or it didn't happen.
yeah, exactly. Emails or it didn't happen. Pictures or it didn't happen.
Oh God.
She's like, well, I walked into that.
Oh, that's funny. I just lighten the mood.
That's right, Baker. Change the cigs for some beer. I'll be there.
Well, in all seriousness, exactly.
Oh my
What's
gosh.
up, Ron?
A whole lot of allegedly. Yes. There is a whole lot. That's the problem. There's a whole lot of allegedly. Like you
But here's the other
putting
thing.
you in prison
It's-
for allegedly.
that's where people mess up. Is there is a lot of people don't want to touch circumstantial evidence, but it's a thing.
Well, the evidence wasn't even in the envelope, so they're not touching anything.
There's no
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
That-
he finger banged
that
that thing
guy-
so hard it was like pregnant by the time he was done. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, sorry.
Oh my
So-
God, maybe
to
that was the water
apologize?
noise. Maybe that was the water noise.
Ah, that envelope got real wet. I was like, oh, thank you. His wife was just sitting there watching, like, you don't do that to me.
Sorry, let's go.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. I just
I don't know what F
for
S means,
fuck's
but-
sake.
Oh, I thought it was just like really fast.
Like that feeling of that envelope.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're
God.
making me say things. I am about to go grab a drink.
You think I don't know what that means? Seriously?
You're making
No,
me
I
say
just wanted you to say
all
it.
the things. I do not want milk and beer. Gross.
You do an Irish car bomb. Or sorry.
Gross. Edging, rimming, whatever. There was things happening.
Rimming?
Edging, hold on.
Rimming.
Edging and rimming are two totally
would
different
know
things. Edging is where you get yourself right
I don't
up
need
to the
I'm good,
point.
good.
No, I'm gonna tell you. This is an educational moment.
Well, then that
Edging
part
is where
envelope was
You
let
get
down.
your-
then.
yeah, you get yourself right up to the point, but you don't allow
get a
yourself to
paper
do it.
cut. Don't get a paper cut.
That envelope went home and cried.
I was like, I'm
I
not a
did-
real envelope.
She came in hot using heat vision. I'm sorry. Yes, the more you know. Thanks,
Why are you
Brad.
apologizing? That's what we do. We debate.
What's up, Frank?
Hello.
Hey Frank.
That went out the window a long time ago.
The time that you made a video about milk and the pendulum swinging, where I couldn't drink milk for like 3 to 4 months, couldn't even look at it, is when
That was
the whole
hilarious.
Christian channel went out the window.
I was looking for that and I can't find it the
I
other
think-
day.
I think it went out way before that.
I don't
Put on the
think-
boxing. No, she would kick my ass.
I would never hit you. I couldn't do it.
Eh,
I couldn't. There's nothing in this world that you can do that would make me hit you.
now I know how my daughter felt when she asked me at 14 what teabagging was.
And
Oh, my goodness.
yes, Frank, I got today off. Go back on Wednesday. It's gonna be my long week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we're gonna actually while
No.
we're doing this now.
Oh God.
So sounding
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyways, while we're doing this now is to get through this one, we're gonna be back at 6 p.m. Eastern time to do whatever, so we can actually finish the trial up tomorrow.
Sorry, that was probably me.
The list is long, Pedaltown. The list is long. Adair, you're gonna have to Google it.
Teabagging is
Shut up.
when
Sue, I'm sorry.
he's got to be educated.
No. Oh, well, see, he just did.
There you go.
The train's off the track, people.
And
Well,
Frank,
technically, that's wrong.
Okay.
It's
enlighten us, Gabby.
Never mind. I'm way too sober for this conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just have to like walk over there.
Dare. He's like,
So-
yikes. Sorry.
So Adair, imagine
Don't
that
imagine.
these two cuff keys, they're the balls. And then this is a head, and it's like teabag. Oh, and very nice.
It was hilarious though. I was like, I already said it in my head. I was like, AJ's face. Bye, Carmen.
Oh goodness.
Oh my
Just-
gosh.
And this is what you guys have to look forward to later, because by that time I'm gonna be going on like 27, 28 hours with no sleep. So I'm gonna get
It's only
eventually.
12:36 p.m.
Gosh, don't remind me.
It's not 12:36 p.m. your time, Carmen. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's only 11:36. You're welcome. Anytime you need a visual, I have all different arts and crafts here that I can use. You're welcome.
Your mom's like, I'm not impressed. You see what you did? Now he's going to be using that in chats now. Look at Adair.
Teabag.
Poor Adair. Sorry, Adair.
Don't apologize. He's a grown ass man. Adair, go in different chats and be like, hey, we're to teabag it.
Oh, or
Please don't
a
do that.
ball koozie.
Gosh,
You ever heard of a ball koozie?
I don't want to.
Google it.
I'm not Googling anything.
All right. Well,
Oh,
Pizza
no.
ship. Pizza ship.
Pete. Shit.
Dang it, let's go. Don't let AJ edge you. Reach down and make it happen, please. Dear Lord, have mercy.
I like the way you said it with some enthusiasm too. Good for you.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oh, this happened earlier. I don't know if you saw it, Mom.
Yay, Bri. Look how old I am. 16 months. Thanks, Bri. I did not see that. I was trying to hurry up and get ready. I was listening, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get down there.
My child's is being an idiot and trying to say this, and I'm like, oh, I don't know.
No, I don't think that.
Think what?
I don't think you're an idiot.
Oh, I didn't
I had
say
a
I
lot.
was an idiot. I said being an idiot. It's a difference. It's like someone could be a bitch or acting like a bitch. It's a different thing.
All right. Well, for those of you that are joining us, we are watching the defense witness in the Rachelle Waterman trial from 2006 in Craig, Alaska, the weird little town apparently that has weird things going on there. Oh, dang it. When you're 80, you can teabag standing up.
Grandpa, what's that growth on your knee? That's my ball, son.
It's
Go ahead,
Grandpa's
Mom.
honey nut. Anyways,
Ah,
see? Yeah, you didn't like that, did you? We are trying. Ah, that's right. That's right.
Anyways, what's this trial about?
So this is the Rachelle Waterman trial. She is on trial for unaliving her mother, even though she did not technically do the crime. Her two ex-boyfriends, both 24 years old at the time, dated her when she was 15, a minor, and did things with her they should not have done. But anyway, they did the crime. Depending on who you believe, only one of them actually did the unaliving, but I think they both took part in it. Rochelle was not part of that. She was in Anchorage at a volleyball tournament. Her dad was in Juneau. I don't know what he was doing because I can't say because it comes out wrong. But
He was doing some fundraising for the Girl Scouts.
or having an affair. I don't know. But I don't.
Either way, he was getting cookie.
He did it all for the cookie. Yeah.
Let's go. What?
What's it
What
called?
is
When
it?
I,
And the librarian has those irresistible eyeglasses on, and you talk to her, and then what?
cookie.
We're trying to get this out of the way so we can stream tonight and then finish this trial up tomorrow night because I wanted to finish it up while Carmen was off of work.
Yeah, we could have been done like now, but instead, my mom wants to sit here and argue with me about the facts. Clearly, she's wrong. That's okay. Not everybody can get it right. I'm just kidding.
But anyways, we're disagreeing about if she actually thought they were going to do it or if they were just kind of running their mouths.
I don't know. That's
Carmen
not what I
says-
disagree. That's not what I disagree with you on.
Well, you don't agree with me that she thought they were just running their mouths.
To an extent, but at the same time, there's still consequences for your actions, whether you're just running your mouth or not. There's somebody that's deceased.
So if Gabby tells me she's going to throw a crock around the world, and I don't really think she's going to do it, and she does it, I'm still culpable for that. Like, I'm still responsible because Gabby threw a crock around the world.
If it hurt somebody and you knew about it, yeah. There's states that literally have laws.
Yeah, but I wasn't there. I wasn't involved. She said something. I'm like, sure.
Doesn't matter. It's no different than if a text message was sent, hey, I'm going to go do this, and you don't go report it to law enforcement. You could also be charged.
Yes, because I know how Gabby is. Good point. I just don't know that she thought they were serious. I just don't know that her teenage mind is not our adult mind. There's some adults that can't grasp what could have been happening here. So
don't disagree with you
I
on that.
just think she thought they were just running their mouths. That she was just like, she was frustrated with her mom. She was unhappy with her mom. She was just venting, saying things she shouldn't have said. Old Jason's over there just like, oh, I'm going to get her. I want her all to myself. I'm going to get her. We're going to unalive her and we are going to ride off into the sunset because I can't wait till she's of age because she won't like me anymore, which was probably true.
But it's just, if somebody said to me, it don't matter what age I was, I am going to use the code word hunting, which basically refers to I'm going to go hunt your mom and unalive her at a stoplight or a stop sign after she drops you off at volleyball practice. No. Like, no. I don't. There's a certain extent where I can see it's just words, you're just venting. But when there's actual plans being made, layouts of houses being given out, time frames when certain people will not be home and her mom will be home by herself. You are way beyond words now. You are way beyond venting.
The only thing that I can even counter with the her being out of town, that would have been well known. The volleyball team is going out of town. And she would have told Jason, like, I'm going to be gone, but maybe not in the fact of, I'm going to be gone. Make sure you get my mom.
Okay, then what's the excuse for her volleyball practice? That's not going to just sit.
They came up with. She did tell them, don't do that. And then she said, I thought it was over. I said, don't do that.
Okay, but then again, if you have somebody saying this and you say don't do that, but then it just continues to sit here and escalate, why would you not do something? Why would you not go tell your mom? You don't have to go tell your mom that you're
how much it was escalating, because the only person she was talking to was Jason. Jason's talking to Brian, and Jason's talking to Rachelle. So does she know that plan is actually ramping up, or Jason's just running his mouth?
She confessed to it in her interrogation.
Again, I don't.
You're too nice.
I can't give that a lot of weight just because of, and it's just because of what I
But that's what I'm going to ask you. Are you not giving it weight because of another trial?
I'm not giving it weight completely because of the technique that they used, and that's been proven to get a lot of false confessions.
But they barely even used it here.
It
the trial
matter.
That you're talking
Is there
about.
A level that they have to use it?
Yeah,
have to be
I have it right here.
I'm just saying, like, do they got to be like at 10, or do they got to be at 1? So we only used 1, so we couldn't have pressured her too much. We kept telling her when she's like, I didn't do this. Yes, you did. I didn't do this. Tell us the truth. I didn't do this. You'll feel better when you do. We know the truth. Okay, fine. Then she's like,
but you saw on, but you also saw in the interrogation when she did just confess, she relaxed. She did feel better.
Did she?
When she was just sitting there talking and just letting it out, like I said earlier, there was no ums, there was no uhs, there was no pauses, because she didn't have to think, because you don't have to think when you're telling the truth. It just comes out.
I don't care about ums and pauses.
Okay, but you still
there's a judge that there's on all the time, and he says twice, like every other word. He's not thinking of anything except what's in front of him and what he's talking about. He doesn't have to be thinking, but people say and all the time. We do it on here. When you're nervous, you say that. Doesn't mean you're guilty.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that if you say and or pause that it makes you guilty. I'm saying if you look at the beginning of her interrogation, when, in my opinion, she is lying, that's when it's the meltdowns, it's the pauses, it's the reflect, it's the being very defensive, it's the attitude, it's the sass, it's everything. But when she finally just calmed down, there wasn't any of that.
Is it calmed down because she's like, here, I'm going to feel better? Or is it calmed down because I know what I have to say to get out of here? But he did. He described exactly how her mom died and then carried on asking questions. I don't like it. I don't know. I'm not saying, right? I'm the same way. Like, I'm guilty, not guilty. Like, I don't know. I'm not at this point, and the state is done. I would not convict her of first degree unaliving.
I wouldn't. No.
I would not.
I would not hit. I would not hit her with that.
She's not getting first or second degree unaliving from me at this point.
That's a whole different ballgame. I wouldn't convict her of that, but she also has 8 other charges? Would I hit her with conspiracy? 100%.
Conspiracy is the only one I could even consider at this point. And I know, Peloton, I know you're like ready to just like bash my head into the wall. That's fine. I get it. You know what to do. Well,
Do it.
when you don't know, it's not guilty.
True. You got to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Oh no. The story of Johnny Appleseed is loosely based upon Puddle and Flash, except for the parts about planting apple trees and not graping. What?
Oh my gosh. That's probably your best one yet. All right, so we got a little less than an hour to go with this. And
I don't know that that's true, Pedaltown. I think it was Jason. I'm
not saying that it wasn't. Yes, it was. 100% worth the $5.
Why am I embarrassed right now?
I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm not saying that Jason was not the mastermind, which is why I wouldn't convict her with first or second. I would hit her with conspiracy, and then it depends which code that they use. Excuse me, for kidnapping. So, did she technically kidnap? No, but if you give the plans, the layout for somebody to go in and do it, you are just as guilty due to the code, depending on the state. I'd have to go and read Alaska's. You are just as guilty.
Well, you'd have to read
Just as
Alaska
guilty.
in 2006 because the laws have changed.
Right. But it just depends on how the codes read. But yeah.
I'm not caught. I am not. Nope. I'm not coddling her. I am not making her a victim in the sense of there is a part of her that is a victim of the assault that happened when she was 13. And these two men who should have known better than to date a 15-year-old. I don't give two of your FFSs pedal down that the dude thought she was 16. Don't care. You're 24. She's 15. You have explicit photos on your computer. You're disgusting. You should have been charged right then and there with that. You weren't. They exploited her. 13 has nothing to do with now. It was 2 years before this happened. That's not that far. Like, it was 2 years. She was raped by a stranger 2 years before this happened. And her mom didn't believe her.
And that's something I don't give a shit if it's 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. That is something that lives with you forever. I will side with you on that one, Mom. Well, I'm sorry, but it does, because that can dictate somebody's actions, or not dictate, but play a part in somebody's behavior.
Absolutely. At that age, my gosh, it's going to change. It's going to change. And then you a lot of people don't even tell, but then you do tell. And your mom's like, I don't believe you.
Allegedly said that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, is going to mess you up. Because
whether
the physical abuse, I'm not giving her. I'm not gonna. I don't believe her on that one. They just haven't put anything forth. Again, they just haven't put the evidence forth. But again, that's with everything. They keep not putting any evidence forth. I can walk into a police station right now and confess everything I know about something that I did not do. They still have to prove I did it.
I'm gonna
My
put you in handcuffs.
interrogation does not convict me, does not make me guilty. You better be able to provide the evidence, and they don't.
Which I agree with you on that. There's a lot of people that, I guess I'm going to eat my own words here. A lot of people that put a lot of weight in an interrogation. And there's times that you can, but then there's times that you can't. I mean, take the dude that was in Texas that confessed to a number of crimes that the Texas Rangers, they closed the cases because they thought they had the dude. Turns out, nope. I mean, unalivings, burglaries, kidnappings, rape, all of it. He confessed to, and it wasn't even him.
Yep.
What's up?
What's up, Weird Debbie? It's been a minute. Good to see you.
Oh, your doggy's so cute.
Her words are not evidence. They have to be able to prove what she says is true. Like Carmen just said, that guy walked in and confessed to several things he didn't do. And they were like, okay, case closed.
He confessed to
Wrong.
like 130 crimes, I think.
It's just wrong. So that's why I'm not what's up, Brandon? I'm not putting like a whole lot of weight on her interrogation, because the other side of that scale is everything they haven't produced. Everything has come from Jason, and I don't trust him. He was the first one to talk, and he said over and over and over, I'm just saving myself. Does not care.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with that part. Jason doesn't care.
They did believe his interrogation.
I don't.
And the guy's been tortured. So,
That's a topic for another time, because I could make this derail, and I'm never going to finish this.
yeah,
video.
no. What are you singing? I am the pig man? We'll be over tomorrow. Are you over it because it makes us all think? I like the discussion that it has.
That's what this channel is about, is talking about it, discussing it, debating it. I mean, as you guys see, we don't always agree. And
I mean, I'm just looking, and I don't know, and none of us do, of what we didn't get to see. We didn't get, there wasn't like all these motion hearings that we got to see of like Karen Reed's, where you see what evidence they're trying to get in and the judge is keeping out. We don't see any of that. We don't know what was kept out, so.
I mean, we don't even know if the emails were allowed to come in. I mean, she has this whole blog. I haven't seen it, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and assume that it wasn't allowed in. Or they just couldn't I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Puddletown, we debated. I'm Jerry here, and thanks for noticing.
All right, let's get back to this, because if not, I might just lay my head down on this desk.
Yes, please don't. You gotta share the screen.
Rachelle's understanding of her relationship with Jason at the time that her mother died. Sorry.
Rachelle had broken up with Jason in late September, early October, and had had very little contact with him during the month of October and the beginning of November. They were not a relationship at that point.
Is that common for teenage girls?
The relationship of the month club?
Yes.
Yes. Unfortunately, I think what these months in Rachelle's life show is that she had a relationship with Ian during the school year. She had a relationship with Brian in June. She had a relationship again with Ian in July. She had a relationship with Jason in August, and that's the one that's most documented because of the love letters in August and the very beginning of September. But by the end of September, we were on to another month, and she was returning to her relationship with Ian.
Is that confusion in Rachelle seen in the interview?
The confusion of the months.
Yep.
Yes, I think that the interview compressed the time that she and the officers were referring to. That had there been an easel in the interview room, that could have tracked the months of August and September and October and November more clearly for her. That in August, when she was crying on Jason's shoulder about her mother and her sadness about their relationship, that was in August. And then as she moved into September, the time that they were talking about where she reacted when she learned of a shooting plan by saying, no, don't do that. That was the end of September. And that was the last reference she made to don't do that, although Brian reported that Jason reported that she had said don't do that again in early October. And that was the time when her relationship with Jason was ending. So that when the officer said, you knew it was going to happen, that statement referring to August in Rachelle's mind, that she knew of these, what she had dismissed as fantasies, and then in August, and when they turned into a shooting plan in September, had said, don't do that. That was in September, not, and that couldn't, she wouldn't have been confused in this interview, I think, so confused in this interview, had they been referring to the months when asking the question about you knew it was going to happen, which did not, in her time frame, refer to October or November.
In interviews in which there is a tremendous amount of psychological pressure, such as this with juveniles, can they come to believe things that are told to them?
Yes, there are examples that have been written about in the literature about how these techniques of psychological.
It's the same thing we just discussed.
I'll overrule that objection.
Okay. This is as far as I'm going to go on this subject, Your Honor. Please go ahead, Dr. Beyer.
Examples that have been written about where a teenager who has been, who's experienced psychological pressure in questions of this type has come to believe that there is so much evidence against them that they believe that they were involved. But a young boy who came to believe, for example, that there was told that there was blood evidence and hair evidence that must have meant that he was the killer of his sister. And he came to believe that he, even though he didn't remember it, that he must have killed his sister, only to discover that that DNA.
Don't worry, let's go. I got you.
PSA, don't usurp DOC or Doc as the biggest, hairiest pussy in the entire world. Never a good look, regardless of the rub. Did I do that okay for you? Let's go. Do I need to hold my mic like this for you, Carmen?
Do it.
PSA. I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
PSA. I don't know if he means Doc as the dad or DOC. Oops. How about this one? Here. You'll do anything to get your hands tied, Puddletown. Is that better?
We
for
were
you, Carmen?
watching. This is an ASMR channel now. But
Now
also,
do-
if
Wait, now do Alaskan Pipeline. I can't. Hey now.
that's my mama.
I don't have Judge Mexi voice.
Mm.
I don't know what the
The one that was on the table was my cat. The one that was losing his mind was my dog.
I'm dying. Okay.
Yo, sexy mama.
This woman's hair.
What's wrong with it? Don't dog on her hair. It could be a
One,
wig.
it looks like straw.
That's mean.
Sorry. And two, yeah, it doesn't look real. Like, I'm just going to Lego it off and put it on the shelf, and I'll snap it back on in the morning.
I think it's just very thick.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if she does, but I mean, like, never mind. And
DNA and blood evidence indicated
Right
that it was
back.
someone else entirely. But through that process, he had come to think it must have been him.
what?
It does. I said I will be right back. It does look like. That's exactly right, Bri. She's prepping for the banana. That thing doesn't be okay. You can play now. I'll be right back.
Just a couple of follow-up final questions. You had talked about the brain development and how the brain goes ahead and a shift in thinking from as the frontal cortex develops. By age 25, has the frontal cortex developed?
Yes, what I was referring to were studies that indicated that it continued to develop past the age of 18 into the early 20s.
All right, so the early 20s, so if somebody's 24 and 25, then they certainly have at least, they should have a fully developed brain and be able to think like an adult.
From what I've read.
All right. Court's indulgence for just a second.
Isn't it 26? So definitely not 15.
I think what he's getting at is Jason and Brian brains were almost fully developed when versus not.
Oh, I know what he was getting at. I'm just saying, but they've changed that from 2006 to now that I think is 26. That you're.
I think it depends on the expert.
Oh no, it happens on your birthday, at the time you were born. Your brain's like, boing, and you think completely different. That's what happens. Oh, that was my ring. Sorry. Paddletown. Hello. Can't do it, Paddletown. Welcome to Smex chat. Want to play? 1976. Hit that. Call now. $4.99 a minute. My dog's bark.
I want to go find Jesus now.
Oops. She was that one time when she took her glasses off. What? Hey, Jay's not freaking out. Is that why you left?
She was freaky enough for a moment. Made a gay frog out of it. And that's me.
Is this what I have to do, Puddletown? I can't read it now. Hello. Welcome to Smex chat.
Oh my gosh.
Want to play? 1976. Hit that. Call now. $4.99 a minute.
Sheriff, I'm scared.
Sorry. All right.
Play.
You hit play. I'll be right back. I had to hear his final question, and I know this guy will take 10 minutes to ask his first one. So,
All right.
All right. Be right back.
Thank you, Dr. Beyer. I have no further questions.
Cross-examination.
The interviews you did with Ms. Waterman, they were January 16th and 17th of last year.
Yes,
And then you said that those were for 11 hours, is that right?
yes,
And then you said you had several hours in October.
yes,
So you interviewed her again in October of 2005.
yes.
All right. Did you record any of those interviews?
I did not.
Okay. You don't tape record your interviews?
I don't.
Okay. And why is that?
I actually don't know any psychologists who tape record interviews of juveniles.
Okay. Wouldn't that give an exact record of what they said?
It would, yes.
Did you take notes
Yes,
on the January ones?
yes,
Okay. And you sent me copies of those.
yes, I did.
The October ones, did you take notes?
Yes.
Okay. You haven't sent me those.
No, didn't know you wanted them.
Right. I didn't know you had interviewed her in October. Did you know that?
I talked about my plan to re-interview her in the light of all of the new documents that were provided to me at the time of my testimony in August.
Right. But I was never informed there was another second interview in October before that.
No,
Okay. Do you have those notes with you? October.
I don't believe so.
Your Honor, I'd like to see those notes so I could be able to cross-examine about them. This is the second time it's occurred because the last notes I only got like Friday before we had the last hearing, which was on Monday. So, I'd like to be able to see those notes. I'll go on with my examination, but I do need to see them before I finish my cross.
Why don't you inquire whether or not she can have those sent to her?
Is there a way to get them sent to you?
While I'm here?
Yeah.
No, I don't have staff in my office.
Okay. Let's see. Now, you also said you talked with Doc Waterman, is that right?
Yes.
How many times did you talk with him?
I talked with him by phone once in preparation for my report.
That was before your is that before or after your January interview?
It was after my January interview.
Okay. And was that before the hearing we had in August?
Yes.
Okay. But you haven't talked with him since then?
I have talked with him since then yesterday when I got into town.
All right. Was it about the case or was it just general chit-chat?
It was both.
Okay. Now, you also reviewed her school records, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And they showed what grades? The A's and B's?
Almost all A's and B's.
Almost all A's?
Yes.
And then some B's?
Yes.
Okay. And you reviewed the transcripts of the police interviews, is that right?
Yes.
And you looked at the videotapes?
Yes.
When did you watch the videotapes?
I watched them prior to preparing my report, and that was in May of 2005, and I watched them prior to the August hearing.
Okay.
and I watched sections of them again prior to this hearing.
All right. And you said you reviewed statements by other people?
Yes.
Whose statements did you review?
I believe that I reviewed the statements to the police by both Brian and Jason.
Okay. Mr. Aaron and Mr. Riddell's statements to the police?
Yes.
Did you review all of them or just the last ones, or do you remember, or do you have any idea?
I don't recall how many I reviewed.
Okay. You reviewed her blog,
Yes, I did.
and that's the one where she talks about her life in general?
Yes, it was maybe an inch of paper.
Okay. And she calls Craig hell,
Yes.
and she doesn't like being there.
Yes.
She talks about her mother,
She talks some about her parental units. Yes.
parental units. Okay. And that she doesn't get along with them?
Oh, there were actually on her blog. There were both descriptions of things that she did with them that were positive, as well as not getting along with them.
Okay. Now, when you did your interviews with Ms. Waterman, did you run any tests on her?
Yes, I used one questionnaire that indicated that she did not have antisocial tendencies. But other than that, I didn't use any psychological testing.
All right. And that test only determines whether they are antisocial personalities?
No, but that was the primary thing that I was using it for.
Okay. Now, most of the information then you got was from your interviews with Ms. Waterman, is that right?
And reviewing all of the other collateral information. Yes.
Okay. Now, the sexual assault, the rape you said that occurred in, I guess, was the summer between her 7th and 8th grade?
Yes,
That would have been the summer 2001.
I believe so.
Okay. Other than Ms. Waterman, did you get any information from anywhere else about that?
No, I did not.
Okay. There weren't any police reports?
No,
It wasn't reported to the police?
no,
There was no other witnesses?
not that I'm aware of.
Okay, she never told you there was any other witnesses?
No,
No physical evidence that she was able to provide you with?
no.
The only person she said that she ever told was her mother, is that right?
No, she said that she talked with it several years later with her boyfriend,
Okay. Did she mention which boyfriend it was?
with Ian.
Yeah, okay. And she said that her mother didn't believe her.
Yes,
Okay. And that was because something about she'd been out when she wasn't supposed to or something like that? Did
she had come home late.
Late.
And so she said that her mother thought it was an excuse for coming home late, but that her mother also didn't want to believe that such things happened in Craig, or that something like that could have happened to her daughter.
Okay. Now, in your chart, you put down her disapproval of her parade, and then clothes, dating friends. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you said that Ms. Waterman told you that her mother said that she was overweight.
yes,
Okay. Did you check with anybody else to see if that was true?
yes, I talked with her father about that.
Okay. Did you talk with, for instance, Lorraine Pierce?
I did not.
And if she said that Lauri Waterman told her that she wasn't overweight, you didn't take that into account in making your decision?
No,
All right. Now, the early physical maturing was traumatic, you said?
yes,
Okay. And she started developing at the age of 10?
yes,
Okay. The photographs the nude photographs, have you seen those?
I have not.
You haven't? Okay. So did you take those into account in determining about her self-image of herself?
Yes,
Okay. And, but you haven't seen those?
No, I hadn't told about them.
Okay, were you given detailed descriptions of what they showed?
Yes.
Okay. And you said teenagers psychologists have found that they're prone to take risks, they're more susceptible to stress, and they're more vulnerable to pressures from others.
Yes.
Isn't that something that most parents of teenagers could tell you about?
Yes, they could.
It's not unusual that teenagers take risks. It's something most people see all the time there.
Right.
And that they're more susceptible to stress. Small things can set them off.
Yes.
And that they're vulnerable to peer pressure. Is that right?
Pressure from others, yes.
Okay. Are they more vulnerable from peer pressure versus, say, their parents or school teachers? Are they more defiant with parents and school teachers than they are with peers?
Well, adults certainly continue to play a very important role in teenagers' lives, especially their family. But pressure from peers or friends who might not be considered peers is much greater for adolescents. They spend much more time with friends than adults do. And that's part of the reason that they are more responsive to pressure from friends.
Yeah. Oh, when you you didn't do any MRIs of Ms. Waterman to see her
No.
brain development. Okay. Now, you said that I got it right, that the brain continues to develop after 18 and continues all the way into the early 20s?
Yes.
Okay. So, people who are 16, 17, or 18, their brains aren't fully developed as opposed to, say, somebody who's 25, 26, or 27.
Yes.
Okay. And so are people who are 16, 17, 18 able to make decisions?
Certainly. We don't allow them to make some very important decisions,
Okay.
but they can make some decisions, and some are better than others.
All right. 15, 16, or 16, 17, or 18-year-olds, are they allowed to make decisions about having sexual relations with other people?
Yes.
About having abortions?
Yes.
Okay. 18-year-olds, are they allowed to vote?
Yes.
Are they allowed to join the military?
Yes.
People who are 16 or 17 can join the military if they get permission from a parent?
I don't know.
Okay. If someone who was 16, 17, or 18 pointed a gun at somebody and shot them, do you think they understood what their consequences would be?
That would depend on the individual 16, 17, or 18-year-old.
You wouldn't think that virtually every 16, 17, or 18-year-old who take a loaded gun and point it at someone and shoot them would realize that they could kill them or seriously injure them?
If you're talking about point blank like that with thinking about it in advance, yes, presumably they would know what the consequences were.
Or giving poisons in large doses to somebody, do you think they would understand that the consequences would be that the person could be killed or seriously injured?
Again, it would depend on the individual, but yes.
Okay. So 16, 17, or 18-year-olds understand consequences of their actions. They just don't necessarily foresee all the consequences.
It really varies, and as the AMA described, they have poorer risk assessment ability, and that's part of what influences their being able to predict the consequences of what they do or what others do, and that ability is compromised under stress. So if you're asking the question about a non-stressful situation where they're making a choice, and they've had the chance to think that choice through, that increases their ability to see the consequences of their actions, as opposed to a situation where there's little thought and high stress, where their brain is not able to use the mature judgment of an adult to foresee the worst things that could happen.
A 16, 17, or 18-year-old goes into a store and sees an expensive item, steals it, and runs out the door.
Do they understand that what they're doing is wrong?
This isn't really about right and wrong. From my experience, teenagers typically do understand that something like that is wrong. The question, I think, is at the point of making a decision to do something like that, do they recognize the consequences, both to them, should they be caught, or to the shopkeeper for that loss, or to the community for the broader consequences of that kind of behavior?
So they know it's wrong, but they don't think they're going to get caught, and they don't think about the fact that there's somebody out there who's lost this item of value.
They may minimize it, or they may not be able to think that far ahead.
Okay. But they still know that it's wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in your interviews with Ms. Waterman, did you talk to her about her relationships with Mr. Aaron and Mr. Riddell?
Yes.
Did you talk to her about whether she had sexual relationships with either Mr. Aaron or Mr. Riddell?
Yes.
And what did she tell you?
At first, she was very embarrassed about her relationships with them, but she did tell me that she had sexual relationships with both of them.
That was in October that she told you that she had sexual relations with them, is that right?
Yes.
In January, she denied having sexual relations with them, didn't she?
In January, she did not deny that she'd had a sexual relationship with Jason.
Didn't she say that they were being delusional when they reported that they had sex with her?
Yes, she had reported that originally, but in our interviews, she talked with me about a night that she had been out with Jason.
Yeah. At the hearing in October, I asked you the same question. You said that she denied having sex with Brian and Jason, didn't you?
I thought that I said that she had changed in her description of it over our interviews.
Okay. On your notes, you wrote, Brian and Jason, see, it's on page 14 of your notes. Brian and Jason both told police R had sex with them, was in newspapers, didn't make me happy, quotation, delusional, unquote, or made them look better. And the next line is cut off, but it's she agreed because police, I'm not sure what the rest of it is.
She agreed because police told her they already knew.
Okay, so
Yes.
okay. Police already knew. It doesn't sound like she's admitting that she's had sex with him. She described it as delusional.
Yes, and in this at this point, she was describing it that way as delusional. In this point, meaning that that it hadn't happened,
Okay.
and she continued to present it that way with Brian.
Okay. And then in October, when you talked with her, she admitted that she had had sexual relations with both Brian and Brian Riddell and Jason Aaron.
Yes.
Okay. Did you, in your interviews, did you find out any other information that she told you that she later said wasn't true?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Now, you've said that 16, 17, 18-year-olds, or 15 or 17-year-olds actually, we've talked about they're prone to take risks and more susceptible to stress and vulnerable to pressure. Is the percentage of 16 or 17-year-olds who commit murder greater than say, 26 or 27-year-olds? Or do you know?
I don't know. The highest rate of violent crime is 18, 19, and 20. But I don't know the comparison of the younger teenage group with the older adult group.
Okay. When you did your interviews with Ms. Waterman, was there anybody present other than yourself or Ms. Waterman?
No,
Okay. Doc Waterman wasn't present during the interview.
no.
When you interview children, juveniles, teenagers, do you usually do your interviews with just yourself and the juvenile?
Yes.
Now, in your interviews with Ms. Waterman, did she mention anything about her mother's physical abuse of her?
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of physical abuse did she mention?
She talked about her mother hitting her when she was yelling at her, particularly during the summer after 10th grade, which would be the months that she was crying on Jason's shoulder.
Okay. And did she describe it as, did she say whether her mother used any physical items, physical objects?
She did mention one occasion when her mother did, but mostly she was talking about hitting with a hand.
Okay. Now, was Ms. Waterman, she was, you said she was a good student.
Yes.
Was she well liked and well by other friends? Did she have a lot of friends?
She talked with me about having friends, as did her father, yes.
Okay. Would you describe her as a well-rounded person for her age?
Well, I would say she was emotionally immature, but she had talents that were both in the arts area and in the athletic area, as well as academic.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Oh, well, I can take that back. I'd like to see those notes before I finish my cross.
Well, let's go ahead and take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll reconvene at 10 minutes before the hour or so. If it's going to be longer, I'll have the bailiff let you know. Please remember the admonition. You haven't heard all the testimony. Keep an open mind, no contact with the parties, witnesses, or others. And if you could stand by, and if the parties could stand by. Please be seated. We continue on record without the jury present. Dr. Beyer, do you think you could go through the documents that you have and see if you have your notes from the October meeting?
Yes, I have a summary of the October meeting, but I don't have my handwritten notes that I took during the interview.
And I take it that there's no one available that could retrieve those for you and fax them up?
No, there isn't, Your Honor. I'm sorry that I didn't bring them. I assumed that because they weren't requested that I didn't include that notebook in my materials.
Well, if you have the summary, we'll go ahead and make that available now to Mr. West. And how long is that?
It's less than a page.
We don't have anything else available, Mr. West. Did you want to be heard on that further? I mean,
Well, when we had the last evidentiary hearing, actually, it was probably about 6 weeks ahead of time. I did say that I'd like to have, her notes and stuff, and I got them like literally Friday before the hearing was on Monday. So, and I didn't know that she'd gone up in October until she started testifying today. That she'd been up there, and I never got anything about the October.
Mr. Wells.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I don't have any notes from the October meeting. Frankly, when she went up in October, I was beginning a 2-month trial, and I got back and I didn't even think about it. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what to say. I apologize to the court. I apologize to the counsel. It certainly wasn't anything deliberate. I was involved in a 2-month trial from October through December. I would ask if we could just go ahead with the summary. I did not realize that had been done, so I apologize.
Mr. West?
If I can see the summary, I don't. the notes, she keeps fairly detailed notes. It's not like it's a transcript, but it's fairly detailed notes, and it tells what's going on and states, and it's actually was fairly helpful.
Why don't you look at the summary, and we'll come back on record in just a few minutes and see if there's anything else we can do. If you have that summary available, I'll go ahead and give it to the clerk to make a copy for both counsel.
I don't believe I have hard copy, Your Honor, but I have my computer in the courtroom, and so we can.
Perhaps that can be attached to a printer somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in the interim, perhaps you could just look over her shoulder.
I'd be happy to give him my
All right.
computer.
Well, why don't we try to reconvene in about 5 minutes and see if it's going to take longer for you all to prepare, so I can at least tell the jury how long the break's going to be.
Okay.
All right. 10 minutes still. Off record. Watch those steps.
Thank you.
I would not want him looking over my shoulder. He's creepy. No thanks.
Please be seated. We continue on record with the jury present, and when we broke, Mr. West was examining Dr. Beyer. Ma'am, I remind you that you remain under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
In addition, ladies and gentlemen, before I forget, you've heard evidence that Rachelle Waterman made statements to Dr. Beyer. It's for you to decide whether those statements were made. And if you decide that those statements were made, the law allows you to consider those statements in the context of or for a limited purpose. And I think I gave you a limited purpose instruction once before earlier in these proceedings. But basically, the statements were permitted for purposes of showing the basis of Dr. Beyer's opinion. And you're to consider them only for that reason. Go ahead, Mr. West.
Yeah. Now, you testified that Ms. Waterman told you that she and Mr. Aaron had broken up in September. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now, in the first interview you did with her, which was in January of 2005, she didn't say that, did she?
No.
Okay. It was in your interview in October that was brought up?
Yes, because the purpose of my interview in October was to go over the letters that I had not had at the time of my interview with her in January.
Okay.
So most of the interview was spent talking about the letters and when those letters were.
Okay. And see, according to your notes, you said that in September she was flattered by Jason's letters. She responded with letters saying she loved him mostly to keep him going.
Yes.
Okay. And in October she saw less of Jason. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And were you aware when you interviewed her in October that when she got back, she had called him up that Sunday when she got back?
Yes, I believe that's in my notes.
Okay. And that that Monday when she was at the high school, she called Jason to come to the high school to I guess, console her?
I didn't know about that.
Or that when she was in Anchorage, I think she called him on a Friday. She wasn't sure if she ever talked, what she talked to him about, but she did call him on a Friday.
But my notes from the January interviews indicate is that she called him to have him download movies for her volleyball friends. I don't know if that was to show while they were in Anchorage or what the purpose of the downloading was, but she did tell me about phone calls for that purpose while she was in Anchorage.
All right. And the photographs that were found on Jason's computer, she told you that she never gave him those pictures, did she?
That's right.
Were you aware that on Jason's computer were found detailed instructions of what poses to make?
No, I wasn't.
And that those same instructions were found on Ms. Waterman's computer?
No, I wasn't.
Did she tell you how many letters she'd gotten from Mr. Aaron?
No, I believe she talked to me about the 4 typed letters that I had in my possession from the hearing in August. I don't recall that she talked to me about other letters.
Okay. And what about the letters that she sent Mr. Aaron? Did she talk about that?
Yes, I had those handwritten letters in my possession and went over them with her in the interviews.
Okay.
I couldn't recall it.
And she told you that in those letters, she said she loved.
Who wrote the detailed instructions for the photos? He didn't ask. I'm going to assume Jason.
I'd say that's probably a pretty good educated guess.
I mean, he's not asked a good question yet. I'm just waiting. I keep waiting. She's not changed. She's one, unlike the investigator, her demeanor has stayed the same with the defense and the state. To me, she doesn't seem like she's trying to hide anything. The investigator was certainly trying to, I know you didn't see that, but he pissed the judge off and was certainly trying to get his little, what he wanted in there.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about it. But no, I agree with you. She's just sticking to the facts, what she knows, she doesn't know. She says, I don't know. And I like people like her that testify.
Yeah, they're just is what it is.
Yeah,
What's-
they're just.
Yeah, Jason was, yeah, he was the gross one. So I'm sure that the detailed instructions were his. If I was the defense, I would ask when I redirect. What's never going to happen?
I mean, I don't care if it's redirect, recross your own evidence. If Jason had him in his possession, I'd probably wear gloves. Those things would probably stick.
I'd wear gloves if the state or the investigator had them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Chloe, I can't do it with this. All right. Him asking a good question. It's never going to happen. Yep. All right, Carmen. Get up, do some jumping jacks. Stay awake.
I know.
Nothing but just to keep him going.
At the end of the time that she was writing to him, toward the end of September, that she was doing it to keep him going.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
Just a few questions. From a psychological standpoint, which is more important, that Rachelle's mom disapproved of her grades or weight or friends or whatever, or that Rachelle felt that her mom disapproved of her grades and weight and friends or whatever?
It's the teenager's experience of that criticism, particularly for a teenager who had low self-esteem as a result of other experiences, that is what counts. I had no way of determining what the nature of or the frequency of her mother's criticism was. Only Rachelle's report of how it made her feel, and then when I talked with her father to understand his perspective on their conflicts.
All right. And you also said that you had done one standardized or test of Rachelle. I think that you testified on cross-examination, right?
Yes,
Do you use many standardized tests?
I don't.
Why not?
Psychologists are ethically bound to use in their evaluations methods that are culturally appropriate, as well as being not gender biased or class biased. And it's my opinion that many psychological tests that are commonly used do have bias, particularly because I evaluate many children of color and many girls and many children who are lower class. I think that the bias, class, culture, gender, race bias in many testing instruments makes them unacceptable.
Okay. Just a moment. Just one last area. You said that you conduct your interviews by yourself. Do you have permission, though, from somebody, a legal guardian or parent or something like that, before you go ahead and conduct your interviews?
Yes, and that when the interview is conducted with a young person in custody, in detention typically, I inform them of the purpose of the interview and that what we discuss will be possibly information that I present in a report or in court.
Right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
May Dr. Beyer be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You gonna pause it?
I'm trying. Computer keeps freezing up.
Wake up, Carmen.
No, I was,
Wake up.
computer keeps freezing up. Anyways,
Go with blue light. Anywho, I don't know. Whoever is telling you bright light, blue light, stay awake, help you stay awake. Anywho. Or as Bree said, any Hoosiers.
I say any Hooters.
You would, except for small ones, is that's what you would say.
Yeah. Be like, get out of here.
All right, so we have her dad is going to be recalled to the stand now by the defense. Boobs.
Beeps.
So the state asked about a parent being there for the therapist, but doesn't care about her being alone in the interrogation. Yep.
Pretty much.
Nope.
I'm the manager.
They always wake you up, Bad Dazzler. Says boobs, and everybody's like, where? So, yeah.
I could be in a coma and someone's like, boobs. I'm like, I'm alive. Where?
Like, double D's. She's like, where?
No way.
But anyway, so this is the defense second and last witness. This is her dad. This is Rachelle's dad. They're recalling him back to the stand. When we watched his testimony the first time, if you remember, he was one of the state's first witnesses, and he was weird. He weirded all of you out. So we will see. Don't be putting yourself on the floor there. Flashy. So we will see how he is now that he's being recalled for the defense and testifying for his daughter instead of against his daughter. You ready?
Yeah.
Don't forget to share the screen.
In this case, remember?
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you a few questions a little bit different from that. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
If you could show the
I've already
document to
provided
Ms. Ruth.
copies to this. I'm going to show you what.
If it's too fast, let me know because I have it at 1.25. If I need to slow it down, let me know.
It's been marked as a defense exhibit I, as in indigo. I've given a copy to the state. Can you please describe what that is?
This is a handwritten letter from my wife Lauri to my daughter Rachelle.
How do you know that it was from your wife, Lauri?
I'm quite familiar with her handwriting.
How long were you married to Lauri?
26 years.
Where did you find that letter?
This was in Rachelle's nightstand next to her bed.
Were there other things that were in her nightstand?
There were a few letters and some small books.
And where was that in relation to the letters and small books?
This was on top.
And when did you find that in your daughter's nightstand?
After she had been arrested.
Excuse me. Your Honor, at this time I would move for defense exhibit I.
Any objection?
Yes, sir. No, I don't have any objection.
Exhibit I is admitted. Hand that up, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. How old was your daughter when she was arrested?
16.
Do you know how long after her 16th birthday she was arrested?
A little bit less than 2 months. A little bit less than 3 months.
All right. And had she spent all of her time in your household? Meaning, were there years when she would live with other family members or somebody else?
No, she grew up in our household.
She grew up in your household. When she was growing up, or let me put it to you this way: in the years, 2 or 3 years before Lauri's death, did she ever talk with you about Lauri hitting her?
No, she did not.
What was your relationship like with Lauri?
I think that we were probably as close as most couples, or hopefully closer than most. Over the years, she'd learned to tolerate me very well.
Did you all have plans for essentially a long future together?
Yes, we had just recently been discussing what we would do when I retired.
Did you ever have those conversations around Rachelle?
Yes, occasionally we would just be sitting there talking and the kids would be around.
You have a piece of property out in Hollis, right?
Yes, sir.
And how far is Hollis from Craig?
Just over 30 miles.
Did any of your discussions include what you would do with that piece of property?
Yes, we had finally decided during the course of that summer and fall that would be where our retirement home would be.
And did Rachelle participate in those discussions at all?
I don't recall that she participated in what we would do planning for our retirement.
But was she around? Let me put it that way.
She was around when we discussed it at times.
Okay. Before her arrest, did she ever talk about the sexual component of her relationship with Jason?
I approached her once to talk about her relationship with Jason, and she denied that it was sexual.
Did you ever find out why she had done that?
I didn't find out for certain. I would assume most children don't want their parents to know.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
All right.
Before Rachelle's arrest, had she ever talked with you about the sexual violation that Dr. Beyer discussed?
No, she hadn't.
Did there ever come a time when she did talk about that with you?
She called me right before the evidentiary hearing in August.
I understand that, and I'm not going to get into the content, but I think that the timing and the reasoning is important.
Objection sustained.
So you learned of it before the hearing in August?
That's correct, yes.
And that was the first that you had learned of it?
Yes, that was first.
Were you glad that you were able to learn of that from Rachelle as opposed to hearing it the first time in open court?
Very much.
If counsel could approach, please.
Let me ask you this. Did Rachelle and Lauri take trips in the summer?
Yes, every summer, Lauri and the children would go down to Tacoma to visit Lauri's family for 3 or 4 weeks.
And when they would go down there, would Rachelle get her school supplies and stuff?
Typically, they did most of their shopping for school clothes and school supplies while they were down south, yes.
When did she usually get back? What time of year? Do you know?
A little before school started. She came back a little bit earlier so that she could be there for the beginning of volleyball practice.
Do you remember when volleyball practice started?
I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly, but it was early to mid-August.
Early to mid-August. And that, I think, was that the second year that your son went to college?
Yes.
Okay. When did he leave for college? Do you know?
I believe it was around the 10th or 15th
Of August?
of August.
Okay. And did he have mono shortly after he got to college?
Shortly after the school year started, yes.
All right. Let me ask you a couple of other questions about the time that you got home after this volleyball trip, okay? Now, I'm sorry, the Rachelle's volleyball trip. When you came in, I think you had said that in your testimony earlier that there was an empty wine bottle on a kitchen counter?
On the kitchen counter, yes.
And what time did you get home?
About 3:30 in the afternoon.
Now, when you saw the empty wine bottle, did that cause you any concern at that point?
I was a little bit puzzled by it. I picked up the bottle and says, what's an empty wine bottle doing here?
And you said that you had also gone out, I think in your testimony, looking for Lauri.
Yes. Shortly after we got home, I drove around Craig just to see if she might be, for example, cleaning up down at the community hall after the chamber dinner, which was something that she would typically do, or if she was at a friend's house or somewhere else.
Now, did you drive around later that night?
Yes, I drove over to Klawock in the early evening to see if maybe she had gone to the clinic. The clinic in Craig doesn't have emergency services, so if there was an illness or an accident, she might have gone to Klawock and been medevaced.
At this point, were you ever concerned that? I know you said that you were puzzled. Were you ever concerned that Lauri might have been in an accident?
As time passed, yes.
Did you ever connect the empty bottle with your fear about an accident?
It was in the back of my mind, and when Rachelle went to bed, I did mention that I was going to drive out to Cloaca again and see if there were any tracks over the road, if she might have driven off the road.
Did you make any reference at that point to the wine bottle?
I didn't make a reference to it at that time, but there was, there's a connection. There's a concern there for a possible connection.
What happened to that wine bottle?
I believe that I threw it in the trash, and Monday is garbage pickup day.
So it's not available for the troopers to have picked up when they came by Monday night?
No.
All right. All right. Now, Friday night, that was the night that the police came to and picked up your daughter. Do you remember that?
I don't remember them picking her up.
Okay.
I remember that afternoon and evening.
Did you see either Sergeant McPherson or Sergeant Habib at the courthouse when you went to the station there? I'm sorry, when you went there for the arraignment for Mr. Riddell?
After the arraignment, we were standing around talking a little bit, and Sergeant McPherson was in the back of the room. I don't know that he saw me. Sergeant Habib walked up to the prosecution table. Trooper Claus was there, and I believe a Craig police officer, and he talked to them for a few minutes, and on his way out, he looked at me and we nodded at each other.
Growing up, did Lauri ever have a phrase about selling somebody to the gypsies?
That was an old childhood phrase of hers. Yeah, we're going to sell you to the gypsies. She used to tease her sister that way.
What did that mean?
I'm not sure that it had any really in-depth meaning. It was a teasing or a taunting.
All right. I want to show you some of the defense exhibits we talked about before. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? This is Defense Exhibit B. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Can you all see that? I'm going to give you a blue marker. Is this a diagram of the bottom floor of your house?
Yes, it is.
All right, and who designed this house?
I did.
When did you design that house?
1997?
And I think you said that you own a real estate sales company there?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll put this over here. There's an X that's in the middle of that in red. Do you know what that is?
That's the entry door from the garage into the house.
Is that the one that has the cat door in it?
Yes.
All right. And there's initials over here, BJR. Is that a window in the garage?
Yes, it is.
Let me ask you something. As Rochelle's parent, did you ever catch her sneaking into the house after she snuck out at night?
Yes, we did.
How many times did you catch her sneaking in and out of the house?
Twice.
Which window did she sneak in and out of?
This window.
Can you put an RW by that window for Rachelle Waterman? How do you know that she would sneak in and out of that window?
Well, the first time my wife waited for her down in the family room and was sitting right there when she came in the window. The second time, I was waiting in the living room and I heard her come in.
And could you tell from what you could hear whether she had come in through the living room or through the garage?
Not with absolute certainty, but I didn't hear this door.
Does that door make some noise?
It does.
All right. Now, do you have a key to your house?
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We have several keys to it, but
Let me ask you,
they're all the same. All the locks in the house are keyed alike.
which locks on the house are key alike?
This is the entryway. It's halfway up. This one, and this one into the garage, and then on the upper floor there's just beside the utility room in the back. There's a door directly above this one, which also uses the same key.
What about this door here?
This door is keyed alike.
All right. Can you just put K on those doors for the key? And this door up here, the top one that you've put K, do you keep a key there?
Yes, there's a key hanging on the casing right beside the door.
And is that a key then to the house?
Yes, that's a key to all of the locks that are keyed alike.
Did Rachelle know that key was there?
Yes, when we first moved into the house, I took Rachelle and Jeffrey down to that door and showed them where the key was hanging and said, if you ever get locked out, don't have your key with you. You can use this one.
If you said you don't have your key with you, did she have a key to your knowledge?
Yes, each of the children had a key.
Do you happen to know where her key was at the time she was arrested?
Yeah, she has a little dish on her dresser with change and that sort of thing, and the key was in that.
Did you find that when you went through her room after she was arrested?
Yes.
All right. You can go ahead and have a seat.
So the window that they claimed that she told them that she snuck in and out of all the time was not the window he just marked.
No.
That wasn't her way in and out, and they knew she was sneaking out, and they caught her. I will have to go back and listen, and I will try to in between streams. I don't know if I'll have time, because I thought the defense asked the investigator if Rachelle provided the layout of the house, and he said no. That was Jason.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back on it, I think you actually are right. But then, because that's where it gets confusing, because then, like, her interrogation, she said yes, and you got people saying yes and no to several different things.
Sorry.
But
But
I good to go.
yeah, you're good to go.
At this time, I would move into evidence defense exhibit B.
Any objection?
No.
It is admitted.
Ronnie is like, she guilty AF.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Ooh, hang on a second. I'm going to show you some photos. Here, if I can put these here, is that okay? I'm going to show you. This has been marked as Defense Exhibit L. What is that?
That's a picture of the rear of the house.
And there's a stairway going up. Is that stairway into the second floor of the house?
Yes, that's into the main floor.
Where would the key be in this photo?
Underneath that, you see in this entryway here, that the doorway into the garage is down in there.
You think you might just point an arrow to the area where the key would be? All right. Your Honor, at this time I would move into evidence defense exhibit L.
Any objection?
No objection.
L is admitted.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as defense exhibit K. Okay? Do you know which side of the house, if you're looking at the front of your house, do you know which side of the house this is?
That would be on the right-hand side of the house.
So are these windows on the bottom here, do they connect to the garage?
No, they don't.
Can you circle the window that you caught Rachelle, that you and Lauri caught Rachelle sneaking in and out of? All right. Is that the same window that Brian Riddell used to get into your house?
No, I think it's been established that he used one in the garage.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would move into evidence defense exhibit K.
No objection.
K is admitted.
Oh, we already have a photo of this. I'm going to show you what's been marked as defense exhibit C. What is this?
That is the entry into the house from the garage.
And so this is the cat door that you had talked about?
Yes.
Is this the door that makes noise?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and this is also key to that same lock.
That's correct.
All right, Your Honor, at this time I would move into evidence defense exhibit C.
No objection.
C is admitted.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as defense exhibit D, as in David. Do you see that?
Yes.
And what is this?
That is the window in the family room from the inside.
Do you know how big that window is?
I'd have to look at the schedule to be sure, but I believe it's a 3040, meaning it's 3 feet wide and 4 feet high.
Well, hang on a second. Let's see if it's on this. See if it's on this schedule. Is it on here?
Yes.
Is that what for?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 4030. It's 4 feet wide and 3 feet high.
And what are the windows in the garage? Can you tell that?
3030, 3 feet by 3 feet.
3 feet by 3 feet. So which window then is bigger? The windows in the garage or the window in the family room?
The window in the family room is a foot wider.
Okay, but wider?
Yes.
All right. And this window, does it come directly out onto the ground?
Yes, the lawn is just maybe a foot below window level there.
All right. Your Honor, at this time I would move into evidence defense exhibit D.
No objection.
D is admitted.
We've already got these two pretty much in evidence. Last item I want to show you is Defense Exhibit H. Do you see that?
Yes.
Report. Can you all see? Which side of the house, if you're looking on the right or the left, which side of the house is this on?
If you're facing the house on the front, that's on the left side.
This is on the left side, and so the window in front, that's the one that Brian went into?
Yes, this one.
Could you put BR by that? Thank you. Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, I would move into Evidence Defense Exhibit H.
No objection.
H is admitted.
Just one moment. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions at this time.
Cross-examination?
Yes. Now, Exhibit B, garage, the window you brought over here. If you're looking at the front, this is on the left side of the building?
That's correct.
Now this window over here on the other side, if you're on the back and looking in, what side of the building is this on?
Obviously, it would be the reverse. That would be the left.
The left side. So right or left, depending on what side of that building you're at, looking at is what it is at.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, you also testified that the first time Rachelle went through the window, you didn't see it, right?
No,
Okay.
I didn't see her come through the window.
All right. And let's see, you said she had a key to the building,
That's correct.
and there was another key out here in the back.
That's correct.
Okay. So when she snuck out of the house, she didn't come through this door and out this door, or this door, even though she had a key, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. She had to climb up on one of these chairs or something to go out this window?
I would assume.
Okay. Rather than just going through the door even though she had a key?
As I mentioned, that door is noisy.
Okay. It's more noisy than trying to climb up on a chair or a table and opening this.
Oh, I wouldn't think so. I could get out that window without making any noise at all.
Okay. Now, the arraignment where you were talking about on where you said you saw Sergeant McFerrin and Sergeant Habib, which arraignment was that?
I believe both the boys were arraigned back to back on Thursday afternoon, or
Okay.
on Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon, Mr. Riddell's first and then Mr. Aaron's?
I don't remember the sequence.
Okay. Mr. Aaron wasn't arraigned the following day, Monday, or Saturday morning?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Aaron wasn't arraigned Saturday morning?
I don't recall. I thought that he was arraigned on Friday.
Okay. And the arraignment that Mr. Riddell was at was definitely Friday though, right?
I believe so.
Okay. It was in the, remember what time it was?
It was in the afternoon, 4 or 4:30, something like that.
4:30? It started at 4:30 or ended at about 4:30?
I think it started about 4 or 4:30. It didn't last very long.
Okay. And you were present for it?
Yes.
And that's the arraignment that you said you saw Sergeant McFerrin, Sergeant Habib, and Trooper Claus?
Yes.
Okay. And you're certain you saw the three of them?
Not absolutely. I recall during the course of that, and you'll forgive me, but I was in a little bit of turmoil there myself, and if my memory's hazy.
Okay. You weren't aware that at 4 o'clock that day?
Who cares?
I can't stand this man. Can he just ask a good question? Just one good question. That's all.
What relevance is that? You're a freaking prosecutor. Like, why don't you know that answer? And if he doesn't, what the heck does that prove?
Like,
Oh,
who
I'm
cares?
sorry. I didn't know that it was a Saturday versus a Friday, or a Friday versus a Saturday, and what order it was in. If it was at 3:30 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. Who cares?
It has zero bearing on this. The only bearing it has is if the investigator sitting at your table took his daughter to the police station while he was there and you couldn't go because they knew where you were.
Right. Like, that's
I mean, maybe he is trying to impeach him on his memory. Nobody, I would not, at least I wouldn't, look at him and think his memory would be good. His wife is gone. he's going to the people, he's going to the arraignments for the people that did it, and his daughter is being taken down to the police station.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on, but even with all of that, he's still been pretty sharp. I don't even know what day it is half the time.
I was gonna say, if you ask me what I did, like, if you ask me what I did a random day last week, I will have to go by what I was doing each day to get to the point of what I could have done on a certain day. Like,
Yeah.
what did I have going on? And this is 2 years later.
Yeah, when I was talking to Grandpa yesterday, I said something. I was like, "Oh, it happened a couple weeks ago." He's like, "That happened like 4 months ago." I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, like
Just-
some. I don't like this guy. Just can't. And I will say, if anybody's mad over whatever the verdict is, if it doesn't go in the state's favor, this guy blew it. He blew it. The investigators, they just absolutely. He's horrible.
And if you know what it is, do not say it in the chat.
You're retired, you never know what day it is. My dad says every day's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will we'll find out the verdict tomorrow. But I can't with this man.
Yeah, we'll see if he tries to tie this in, but I ain't gonna hold my breath.
Yeah.
Trooper Claus was with Mr. Aaron, and he was driving him around the islands, and it wasn't until the next day that he arraigned.
I am aware of that now, as you recall.
Okay. So it wasn't in Mr. Aaron's arraignment that you saw it after?
You know, it's kind of clear in my mind because when I got home and learned that they had taken Rachelle, I was a little bit shocked.
Okay. But you said it was Sergeant McFerrin, Sergeant Beebe, and Trooper Claus were the ones you saw in there.
I can't verify Trooper Claus.
Okay. And that's because we've got tape evidence showing exactly where he was at that time.
I recall that during an arraignment, Trooper Claus was one of the people sitting at the table.
Okay.
And
you went to 3 arraignments. There was Mr. Riddell, Mr. Aaron, and then your daughter.
That's correct.
Okay. And they were at different times?
Yes.
Okay. They weren't like one at the same time or one right after the other?
No, Mr. Riddell's was on
Friday
afternoon.
And Mr. Aaron was Saturday morning, and then your daughter was later?
And you're correct. Mr. Aaron was with Mr. Claus on their drive up the island.
Okay.
Hello?
When you called into the Craig Police Department on Sunday night to report your wife missing, you never mentioned anything about you thought she was in an accident?
I beg your pardon?
You never reported that you thought she had been in an accident or something?
I didn't report that I thought that she had been in an accident. I told them that she hadn't returned home yet, and I believe I asked if there had been any accidents reported.
Okay. Now, when you testified, I think it was the week before last, you said that your wife rarely drank.
That's correct.
Okay. And I think you said when she did drink, it would just be a glass of wine or something like that?
She would sometimes carry a single glass of wine around at a gathering for 2 or 3 hours at a time.
Sipping on it every now and then?
Occasionally.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Why did you ask those? You don't need to redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
No, I have no redirect.
Thank you, sir, and watch those.
Don't stop it yet.
What'd you say?
Don't stop it yet.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense would rest.
I'd like to take up matters with counsel before that occurs.
Okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, case is by no means over, and so it again remains important that you not discuss the case even with one another, have no contact with the witnesses. We're going to take about a 5-minute break while I talk to counsel and Ms. Waterman, and I'll be asking you to come back in.
Trying, pal pal. There just wasn't anything to ask.
Mr. Wells, I specifically asked you at the start of, go ahead and be seated, ladies and gentlemen. I specifically asked you, directed that you advise me before the defense rests, because as you know, the law requires that I address the defendant before the defense rests about their right to testify. Is there some reason why you didn't do this?
No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just got flustered, for lack of a better word. I'm sorry.
I considered invited error to the extent that there is any error that is ever alleged. Let me turn to Ms. Waterman, because Ms. Waterman, as I just instructed the jury, this case is by no means over at this point, and you have a very important decision that you must make at this point. While the advice of your lawyer or your father or others might be of assistance to you, the ultimate decision about whether to testify or not testify in this case is yours and yours alone to make. As I told you at the beginning of the trial, if you choose not to testify, I will instruct the jury that they cannot hold that fact against you. But the decision as to whether or not to testify is a very important one, and it's so important that the law requires that I address you personally about whether or not it's your choice not to testify. And when I talk about your choice, it's a choice freely made without being influenced unfairly by your lawyer or by anyone else. Is it your choice not to testify in this trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any question about the right you're giving up?
No, Your Honor.
Right. Any further inquiry requested by the state or the defense?
No, ma'am.
No, Your Honor.
And so that the record's clear, Mr. Wells, are you satisfied that this is an independent and voluntary decision by your client?
I am, Your Honor.
And I take it is a decision that was made by her prior to the time that you advised that you would rest after consulting with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any other inquiry requested before we bring the jury back in?
No, ma'am.
Right. It's my inclination to release the jury early today, go over final jury instructions, and I think we're very close there. Advise the jury that we'll begin with closing arguments tomorrow morning at 8:30. Did you have a rebuttal case, Mr. West? I'm sorry. I almost forgot.
I've been thinking about it, but I don't believe I have anything.
I'm not trying to rush you. That actually had not crossed my mind till I realized I had asked.
No, I don't believe so.
But
So it
it's
is all right
funny
to
when she
release the jury and
forgets.
advise that we'll be going to closing?
It was funny when she forgot. That guy gets like admonished.
Oh no! I'm like, all he did was just get a little ahead of himself. She's like,
this is like no whatever error she said, blah blah blah. Then she's like, oh, I almost forgot.
yeah,
Yeah,
know.
see, we all make mistakes, Judge. Like, okay. You know, all the prosecutor's questions to her would have been about those damn pictures.
Oh, absolutely. They would have been like, "We
Well-
got a copy."
We are not going to hear her explain herself.
Nope.
So the rest of this is them going over jury instructions. There's a lot of nothing happening here. That's what I saw on there anyway. I did see, and whoever, I think you were the one asking about it, and I'll try to go find it. I just don't know if I think I may have run out of time. She is not going to read the elements of the charges, or because she thinks she asked the defense and the state if she needed to. They said no because she figured they're going to argue in their closings. So she's not reading that part. She's starting on like jury instruction 30 some through 46. So if you need me to go back and try to find the elements, I don't remember which one you were looking for. I will do that. But she's not going to read them, even though I think we should hear them. Who cares what the charges and instructions are?
I mean, the charges might be important.
Shame she didn't plead the fifth at the interview.
Yep. And no, Puddletown, I'm not doing the verdict now. I already said this. So I got one more day. Pay attention.
Chloe said, damn it, I wanted to know how she was going to explain everything. Yeah, I'll see if I can find the charges. That's should be fairly easy. I know it's unaliving 1 and 2 and conspiracy. Carmen said there's 8. So I'll see if I can find those.
But I was only ever, so it said 8, I believe, but I was only ever able to find 4, which was unaliving, first and second, conspiracy, and kidnapping.
How can she get kidnapping?
That was such a cop thing to do. That was my.
What? Oh, this? Grief. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
You already screwed up. You're going to jail.
Well, I ain't even through one.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well,
1,
I
2,
wasn't
3, 4,
really
5.
trying.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nobody can pass those things, so don't take them. Just ask for a PBT test and blow in that instead. You might go to jail, but they'll give you a test there, and if you're cleared, then you can leave.
Oh, well.
Well, they have to test you somewhere.
I'm saying.
Not
you
every
blow in-
department carries PBT.
I understand that, but if you blow in a tube, then you're going to jail. Blow over the legal limit instead of getting a blood draw.
But if you don't,
refuse, you're going to jail anyways. You're going to get your license suspended. But if you are that confident,
your
take
cousin
a blood draw.
will disagree with you because he's been pulled over and they asked him to do a field sobriety test. He said, no, give me a PBT. He did it. He was not drinking. He was not drunk. And on his way, he went.
Who?
That's in the state.
What's the letter of the first, what's the first letter?
That won't help you. They're all the first letter.
What's the second one?
I. Y. M, C, A.
I'm not saying every cop is like that. I'm just saying, no.
Yes, just don't drink and
Just don't drink and drive.
Just
and
don't
you're
drink and
good.
drive. Yeah, okay. Uber, Lyft, whatever.
Unless you have warrants. Because we just pulled over an Uber driver and the person that was in the car. The person that was in the car had a bunch of warrants. So she went to jail. Yeah, I think that would be if I semi trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, because she
'Cause I
didn't
don't
have a
have a-
license, right?
She didn't have a license.
So she's like, I'm doing the right thing. And then her Uber driver was like, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she had
That's
a
probably what
bunch of
she was
warrants.
saying. Was
She had a bunch of warrants but I don't feel bad for her because she lied to me.
oh well. Get
I
what you
said,
get.
"Are you gonna be detoxing from anything?" Nope. All I've heard her do for the past couple days is just vomit.
You. Do you want to see? I was trying to see if anybody was live. Baker's not.
Squid's live.
Oh, she is. Oh, there she is. All right, let me set that up. Take that off.
All right. We will be back at 6 p.m.
Talk slowly.
We will be back at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 5 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 a.m. the following day, Antarctica Time, something in California. I would make a 69 joke, but I'm too tired.
All right, I'm going to send you all over to Squid. So if you could just at least pop in, say hello, I would appreciate it. So she's always very nice to us. And
Squid's
I do appreciate her. Yeah,
Squid's
she's really good.
absolute sweet. But yeah, make sure not only if you want to go the extra mile, instead of on top of saying hi, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for it. Like Squid is an absolute sweetheart.
Absolutely. All right, we'll see you guys all at 6 p.m. and take some caffeine because we got the states closing. Sorry.
Yay!
All right, see you guys all in a little bit.